Chapter 1. Can this stuff also be eaten? Cough and cough. On a quaint bed of sandalwood, a sick teenager suddenly coughed up violently. That way, it seems that the lungs are not coughed up and will not give up. The teenager's lips are purple and pale, which is obviously a sign of life. However, his fierce coughing made the young woman beside him ecstatic. The young woman is more than 30 years old, although it is not fashionable, but it is also a charm. At this time, her frowning brows finally stretched out slightly, and quickly pulled the hand of the sick teenager on the bed. Far away, you finally woke up, but you can be frightened for your mother. Ah, go and call the homeowner back. The distant child has already woken up. The most urgent task is to cure the distant child, and the account of Wanjia will be counted later. The next person listened to the young woman's instructions and went quickly. The teenager turned a blind eye to these things at this time, but he coughed attentively. Suddenly he wowed, and spit out a large black blood. Black blood quickly eroded the bed into a big hole, which is very poisonous. Spit out the blood, the teenager seems to be relaxed. The teenager looked at a nervous young woman, a strange and familiar feeling from her heart. He tried hard to think about who this woman is, only to feel a splitting headache. Right, what's wrong with you? Is it the attack of the broken grass? Then take the product and dissolve the poison to the young master. The young woman asked with concern. Another man went to death. The young man will work hard to sort out the memories of the misunderstanding in his mind, and finally remember who this woman is. This woman is not someone else. It is her own mother who is Ren Hongling, and herself, or the original owner of this body, is Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan, born in Yi Yuan, is one of the best Dan medicine families in Qin. The owner of Yi Hang, the father of Yi Yuan, is the inferior of Da Dan, and Qin Guo's important existence. It is a pity that Yi Hanghu's father and son, who gave birth to an unbearable son, Yi Yuan, knew that it was a sinister woman, and that she had not even mixed up with a Dantian. It was really a shame to be thrown into her family. However, Yi Hang did not care about these things. He never asked his son, let him take it, and the protection was short. Yi Yuan was provoked outside, and finally he came to wipe his butt. However, when Laozi always hoped that his son could make a living, then Yi Hang spent a great price and stuffed Yi Yuan into the Danwu Academy. He also hoped that he could learn something. Who knows that Yi Yuan's kid is jealous with others in school, and he is not self-reliant to detoxification with others, and he is poisoned by himself. Thinking of this, Yi Yuan sighed slightly, and his original owner of the body was considered to be the best, and he was able to play himself to death. How much courage and high IQ. But I can't think of my Qingyunzitang Tang the Emperor, even one day fell to a rebirth on a shackle. But since God cares, let me Qingyunzi reborn once, how can I take care of my father, revenge for myself, hands the traitor of the wolf's ambition. Thinking of this, Yi Yuan's eyes became sharp and his eyes filled with killing. Ren Hongling apparently also noticed Yi Yuan's eyes. He thought that he was very worried about the boy's child. He quickly advised him, children, gentleman's revenge, not too late, this account must be recovered. Come, but the most important thing now is to raise your body first, and other things will be said later. Seeing the full mother's love of Ren Hongling, Yi Yuan was also moved. He inherited this body, and of course he also inherited the physical emotions. Even if Yi Yuan is outside to jerk, he is very affectionate to his parents who love him. Mother, sorry, I am worried. Ren Hongling couldn't help but hear his son's words. This kid was blamed for being alive all day. Her heart was broken and she didn't see this kid saying a soft word. What happened today? Is it far from a distant child to wake up? After a little blasphemy, Ren Hongling immediately became overjoyed, and his eyes screamed in tears, as long as you are fine. Just then, the jingle sounded and the door was kicked open. You kid is not dead. You can worry about the dead. A roar came and shook the leaves and the eardrum was sore. Although the words are not very good, anyone can hear the joy and care in this speech. Needless to say, naturally, Yi Jiajia's main Yi Hang arrived. Yi Hangsheng's roughness makes it impossible for him to connect him with a noble pharmacist. It is like a wild man. When Ren Hongling listened to Fu Jun, he couldn't help but look at him with a sneak peek. I'm just dying to escape, can't you say something? Yi Hang didn't care too much. He glanced at the black blood on the ground and suddenly let go of his heart. He smiled and said, "It seems that my son of Yi Hang is a big blessing, so I can't die, ha ha ha. Come on. It's no problem that the detoxification Dan is eaten and the residual toxins in the body are removed." Yi Hang took out a pill and went to Yi Yuan's mouth. Yi Yuan was shocked and quickly slid into the bed. "This stuff can also eat," Yi Yuan exclaimed. Yi Hanghu looked at him and angered. "You are a kid, not poisoned and burned your brain. Do you forget what you are?" Ren Hongling also thought that Yi Yuan had any problems. He quickly said, "Far, you are a great Dan, even if you meet him, you are polite, and he is yours, can you still harm you?" Yi Yuan snorted and said nothing. Of course, he knows that this pill is detoxification, but the quality is too bad. The father of his predecessor Qingyunzi was dandy. He was like a jelly bean from a snack medicinal herb. How could he not even know the most common detoxification? Although this thing can be used to control the toxins in the body, but the effect is really unspeakable. It is impossible to completely remove the residual poison in your body. The general level of these toxins is not visible to the Dan pharmacists, and will not have much impact on Yi Yuan's life. But these toxins will lurk in the body and will always become a burden on the body, even after affecting the future. The martial arts are refined. The poison of the offspring is naturally nothing in the eyes of Yi Yuan, even in Yi Hang's eyes. Only when Yi Yuan was sent back, the poisoning was deep. Only the intake air did not vent, and even the detoxification medicinal herbs could not be eaten. Therefore, Yi Hang would be helpless and ready to take people to work hard. Qingyunzi was already the standard of dandy before he died. It is clear to these pharmacology that the vision is not comparable to that of the Dan, such as Yi Hang. Seeing his son's eyes, Yi Hang was deeply stimulated and broken. "You kid, actually question your level of alchemy." Yi Yuan looked at the pill in the hands of Lao Zi innocently, and looked at his angered burning eyes. He said, "The red grass has 2 more points, and the green snake has 1 less point. It should be in the case of Cheng Dan, the operation was improper. The most unsuccessful thing was to add the barley in the detoxification Dan. Not only did it not help the drug, but it destroyed the structure of the detoxification. I said that you are the 3rd order Dan. If the medicine is enough, set the standard lower." The expression on Yi Hang's face was wonderful. He was angry first, then surprised, and finally stunned. He is the refiner of this medicinal medicine, and naturally knows the pros and cons of this remedy. Yi Yuan's analysis is like what he saw with his own eyes, and even if he saw it with his own eyes, it is not necessarily as accurate as analysis. Is this kid really his own son? Yi Hang couldn't help but be suspicious. After careful examination, he determined that this was indeed his son. "Don't look at it, I am really your son, such as a fake replacement." Yi Yuan saw Yi Hang's eyes, could not help but some guilty, quickly defended. "Hey, your kid wouldn't have been a pig and eat a tiger before. It's not right. If you really play the pig and eat the tiger, how can you solve the poison of the broken grass?" Yi Hang couldn't understand it. Yi Yuan turned a blind eye and swallowed the detoxification Dan in the hands of Yi Hang. Chapter 2 Lingbi Juyong God. It's not how Yi Hang's medicine works, but Yi Yuan's current state is really bad. Although Yi Hanglian's medicine has some side effects, Yi Yuan can't manage it so much now, or it is better to ease the bad body first. As for the hidden dangers left by this detoxification, Yi Yuan naturally has a way to remove it. Ever since I got this body, the great dandy Qingyunzi really couldn't bear to see it. I really don't know how the former 10 years have come. Born in a family of medicinal herbs, this kid has not even reached the 2-dimensional situation. Even in a mortal country, born in such a world, is to take the most common elemental dandan sugar beans to eat. Now it should be more than 4 yuan atmosphere. I want to cry without tears. Mr. Dandy can only use this word to describe the mood at this time. With such a bad body to withstand such a violent poison, Yi Yuan is not dead to blame. Although Qingyunzi now occupies this body, it is really not a good way to take such a broken body at a time, so I have to take one step. Yi Yuan's move to capture Dan is in the eyes of others. "Hey, I know that you were blind, don't say it, I really scared me." Yi Hangyi smiled. At this time, Yi Hang is also, suddenly realized, this kid must have peeked into a unilateral, or listened to the family's offerings and said that he refining this detoxification Dan, will tell the words just now. Since this kid will be joking, shouldn't it be a big problem? In this regard, Yi Yuan naturally does not explain anything. It seems that it is more in line with the current body without learning. Let Zan be a quiet beggar. Hey, mother, the baby is a little tired, I want to take a break. Yi Yuan also has to adjust the body, and then ordered the order. Far, you are sick and recovering. It is time to rest and rest. What is the matter for Greener to inform us? After the meeting, the couple left the room with everyone. Yi Yuan began to meditate, and transferred the body's strength to dissolve the drug of Jiudan, clearing the toxins in the body. Unfortunately, the power of the body is really pitiful, and this efficiency can be imagined. The first generation of Dandy was just reborn, not poisoned by poison, and almost died. By the time Yi Yuan had completely digested the body's potency, the sky was already bright, and it took a while to meditate for 6 hours. It was also amazing. However, this hard work has finally paid off. Yi Yuan's face is obviously rosy at this time, and his radiance is radiant. The toxins in the body have been cleared. For today's Yi Yuan, there is nothing remarkable about it. It is not difficult to excavate all the effects of a small detoxification agent with the Dan Dao of Qingyunzi. Now think about it, although the predecessor did not take it seriously, it is not a good thing. Nowadays, this body is like a piece of white paper, and Qingyunzi can play it freely without worrying about destroying him. If the predecessor practiced indiscriminately, Qingyunzi would have to pay a small price to reshape the foundation. Now it has saved a lot of things. It's just that the poison of the heartworm is no longer a problem, but Yi Hang's detoxification drug is really limited. There is still a small amount of toxin left in the body, and the detoxification Dan itself has flaws, and it leaves in Yi Yuan's body. Some erysipelas. After the dawn, you need to find some medicine to completely eradicate the hidden dangers. Fortunately, Yi family is a family of Dan medicine in Qin state. It is not a big problem to get some medicine. There are still some time from Tianming, and Yi Yuan decided to plan the road after rebirth. In the past, Qingyunzi was obsessed with medicinal herbs, but it was somewhat ruined for the martial arts, otherwise it would not be able to fight back in front of the traitor. Qingyunzi cultivated martial arts, just for better alchemy, enough to use. It is precisely because of this that he can become the youngest dandy in the domain. When he made dandy, he was praised by the sacred places of the gods as the genius who was most likely to reach the realm of Dan God in tens of thousands of years. We must know that the realm of Dan God has not been reached for tens of thousands of years. The glory of the past has become a thing of the past, and now there is no genius Qingyunzi, and some are just the younger Yi Yuan who is on the road to revenge. Since he is going to avenge the traitor, Qingyunzi must use his martial arts in his life. The traitor, although Dandao's genius is slightly inferior to Qingyunzi, but the martial arts is a true genius. Want to surpass him, now Yi Yuan has to pay more sweat. Originally for a teenager in the lower mortal world, the most lacking is nothing more than resources and exercises. Resources are indeed a luxury for Yi Yuan, but the most important thing is that he is practicing. Alchemist is extremely respectful in both the lower bound and the divine domain, not to mention the fact that Qingyunzi's father, Zhengyangzi, is the first dandy of the divine realm, and the number of exercises he has collected over the years is numerous. Although Qingyunzi is not very flustered by the martial arts, in order to assist the alchemy to enhance the realm, it is also a book to read and find a few suitable exercises for himself. Naturally, it is not difficult. After sorting out the memories of past lives, Yi Yuan finally selected a method called Lingyang Juyang Shen as his main practice. This martial art is the main practice of the gods. In order to refine a ninth-order medicinal herb, he sought Zhengyangzi, but he could not get the corresponding revenge. The main practice method has been left. This martial law is overbearing, and the sacred **** king is relying on this martial art to fight the invincible hand of the gods and become one of the most mysterious gods. In the domain of the gods, everything that is linked to the word God is a precious thing, and any one thing will cause a storm. When the Lingyang Juyang God, was born, the whole **** domain was shaken. In order to **** this set of exercises, it is said that more than a dozen gods have been degraded, but they were eventually obtained by the little man who was not known at the time. After he was crouched for more than a decade, he became a top-ranking **** of the gods. If it wasn't for the 9 order medicinal herbs that were too precious and too important for the priests, he would never have used this set of exercises to exchange them. Of course, he can safely hand over this set of exercises to Zhengyangzi, because both Zhengyangzi and his sons are obsessed with Dan Dao, who have no contention with the world, and there is no attempt at his practice. Yi Yuanwen studied the Lingyang Juyang Shenk again, and began to follow the above method of running the Fa. The silk force penetrated through the body exudes a faint yellow light. The meta-environment, which leads the world into the body, is the foundation for building the foundation. Yuan Qijing seems to be inconspicuous, but it is a very important realm of martial arts cultivation. From the ground up to the high-rise building, the foundation must be solid, otherwise it is the rootless, and there will always be a day in the future. This is common sense. Only this common sense is placed on the martial arts cultivation, but few people can break through. Many practitioners are blindly pursuing the speed of cultivation, but they do not know but have broken their own future. Call. After 2 hours, Yi Yuan woke up from the entrance and took a long breath. This, Lingyang Juyang God, is really powerful. Although the practice of these 2 hours has not increased much, but the quality is extremely high. If it is so practiced, is it not invincible? Yi Yuan used to be Dan Di, and his vision was very high. He was so acclaimed that this set of exercises was indeed extraordinary. Among these 2 hours, Yi Yuan tempered the little Yuanli who had cultivated his predecessor with the Lingyang Juyang God, which made the strength of Dantian a lot pure. Only in this way, his realm not only did not improve, but fell back a bit, almost reached the level of a first-class vitality. Fortunately, the former 10 years have been too ruined, otherwise Yi Yuanguang is a revitalizing body. It will take a lot of effort, which is considered a blessing in disguise. The sky was already bright, and Yi Yuan got up and went out to pick up some medicine in his own medicine shop to adjust his body. Just after he went out, he bumped into a green figure. Chapter 3 Grab Medicine. This green figure is naturally a green child, that is, Yi Yuan's little niece, responsible for Yi Yuan's life. Green children's cute, especially the pair of smart scorpions, is fascinating, with a green dress, like a green elf. For this green child, Yi Yuan is very familiar with nature. He is a playmate from childhood to big, and is the closest person to Yi Yuan except his parents. Outside the home, no one can afford Yi Yuan, but green is an exception. No matter how far away Yi Yuan is, the green child has always taken care of Yi Yuan. Therefore, for the green child in front of the eyes, Yi Yuan now has instinctive feelings of intimacy, as if his own younger sister, although his predecessor also likes to play with green children. In fact, although Yi Yuan is confusing, he rarely does anything to bully men and women. He just likes to engage in some mischief, but sometimes the prank is too much. Yi Yuan inherited the memory of his predecessor and found that the nature of this predecessor was not really bad. It was just a habit of spoiled. In this regard, lousy Yi Heng has to bear no small responsibility. It's just that the father loves the mountain, and Yi Yuan naturally cannot blame Yi Heng's head. Instead, he is very moved, just like the father of his previous life. Young master, hey, are you all right? Greener rushed to Yi Yuan, who was very embarrassed, but looked up and saw the look of Yi Yuanshan, and suddenly became happy. Yi Yuan can feel the care of the green child from the lungs. He smiled. It's okay, your family is a big man. This time the disaster is not dead, you can't enjoy it. Giggle, young master, you are really funny, but the green child also feels that you will not die this time, and may actually become different in the future. The speaker is unintentional and the listener is interested. I don't know the confidence of the green child, but Yi Yuan is a heartbeat. The mind of this daughter is really sharp. Yi Yuan quickly made a ha-ha. Well, let the young master go to the medicine incense to get some medicine back. Green did not speak, just bowed and followed Yi Yuan. Yaoshangge is the drugstore operated by Yejia. It is one of the best forces in the whole Qin dynasty, which naturally benefits from the identity of Yihang Dan. In the small Qin country, the identity of having the Dan teacher is already extremely honorable, not to mention the great Dan teacher. Because of Yihang's identity, Yao Zhang's position in Qin state is very detached. In Qin state, the identity of Dayton division is a gold-plated signboard, so Yaoshangge has always been in the market. Yihang naturally cannot come out to sit in person, but the strength of Yaoshangge cannot be ignored. At the headquarters of the drug pharmacy in Ducheng, every day there will be a teacher in the shop, which is not something that small forces can do. Yi Yuan took the green child into the medicine incense, and immediately attracted a while. From the eyes of the guys, Yi Yuan read fear, disdain, and contempt. This makes Yi Yuan cannot help but secretly shake his head. The reputation of his predecessor is really too bad, and the pool fish. Yi Yuan naturally wouldn't care about these people. He went straight to the counter and said to an apprentice, "Paper, pen." The apprentice knows that Yi Yuan is so powerful that he does not dare to neglect at the moment. He takes out the pen and paper and placed it in front of Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan is not too arrogant. He took a pen and brushed it and wrote a row of medicine names and handed it back to the apprentice. "Catch these medicines for me. What is the problem to find my father?" Yi Yuan was too lazy to swear, directly commanded. The apprentice glanced at the herbs on the square and saw that there was nothing too rare to let go of his heart and turn to take medicine. The herbs are very ordinary, but the formula is not ordinary. Yi Yuan's predecessor, Qingyunzi, was a generation of dandy. He began to learn and recite Dan Fang since he was a child. The understanding of medicinal materials and medicinal properties has reached an incredible point. If this is not the case, it will not be hailed as the genius who is most likely to reach the realm of Dan. The apprentice naturally did not know the intention of Yi Yuan, and thought that this turned his temper and began to play with herbs. The apprentices took the pill, and Yi Yuan took the green child to wait in the place where the medicine was in the consultation. The master of the consultation took a faint glance at Yi Yuan and expressed his contempt and continued to see the patient. The masters of the doctors are all in the realm of Dan Shi, and they are the offerings of Yi Hang. Not to mention that in the medicine, it is also quite a position in the whole Qin. The masters here are all incurable diseases, and the average person can't look good. Yi Yuan saw the diagnosis of the master, and his heart shook his head. Master's diagnosis is not good, and the prescription is very general, but it is enough for mortals and lower-ranking warriors. If Yi Yuan came to see him, he could offer several or even a dozen more optimized programs, but that would be too shocking. Anyway, the master of the master can play a role. Yi Yuan naturally will not add more snakes. The next one, Xiao Yan, next to the master, shouted weakly. A strong big man came to the master, but the state of this strong man is not so good. He looked a little purple, his face was faintly black, and he kept coughing, apparently a symptom of poisoning. The master cut a vein, looked at the tongue, and bowed slightly. "You are a small 8 heavy martial artist, and you don't even know how to live in the infinite forest. Isn't the poison of the 7 turbulent clouds bad?" The Brahmi did not feel uncomfortable because of the master's ridicule. Instead, he showed his sincere admiration. He smiled bitterly. "Master Mingzhan, I am also involuntarily. The family points to me to live alone, there is no way to go." The beast hunter. Previously, the team with the companions was at the edge of the forest. Who knows that this time they bumped into the monsters of the 7 miles. "It is also my life, otherwise I will not come back, my 2 companions, it's all lost in its mouth." After that, the look of the strong man was very stunned, apparently evoking his sadness. These 7 turbulent clouds are the second-order monsters, which are equivalent to the human spirits, and the combat power is even worse. The Brahmi is just an 8-fold situation, and his companions are estimated to be nowhere high. Where is his opponent? It is extremely lucky to be able to escape a life. The master nodded and said, "You are indeed a big life, and the 7 turbulent clouds are very fierce. You can escape from your life and you are lucky. This poison is still somewhat difficult to solve in other places, but it is not in my medicine." "What is difficult? But you also know that this drug rank is high, but the price is not cheap." The brawny man was very happy. He had already gone to several pharmacies, and almost all of them were helpless. The medicine incense pavilion has always been asking for a high price, and it is not a last resort. His bitter haha is absolutely unwilling to come. However, he knew that the poisoning was deep. If he didn't treat it, it would be quite a few days. He had to smack his scalp into the medicine incense. I didn't expect the master here to be really powerful. At first glance, I saw the crux. The master is assured that there will be some savings in the next few years. Originally, I was reluctant to take out the detoxification. But my family is pointing at me alone. If I am dead, their days will be even more sad. The masters can solve the problem in the next 7. The poison of the cloud, the diagnosis of gold from the time to serve. The strong man coughing while seeking for wealth and danger. The beast hunter is doing the trick of heads, and this strong man is naturally a little savings. In fact, Yi Hang refining system's detoxification effect is better, but his identity is detached. The refining of the detoxification Dan Yiden is hard to find, often only circulating among the Qin aristocrats, and the price is high. These medicinal herbs are naturally not affordable as a strong man. The master Fu Wenyan no longer swears, telling Xiao Xiaodao, Biliu Cao 2 money, Zhu Shensha 2 money, Iron Wind Eagle Inner Dan 3 money, supplemented by the star into the medicine, fried good to the strong man can take it in addition, grab 2 more medicines to take him away. Xiao Yan took the lead, took the prescription and sent it back. He was ready to call the next one, again, but he was stopped by gestures. Chapter 4 Question. It's not someone else who gesticulates that little girl, it's Yi Yuan who is always there. Seeing Yi Yuan stopped, the little sister was very confused. However, Yi Yuan is the Xiaodong family of this medicine, and his reputation is too bad. He naturally does not dare to offend. Qian Bo, this medicine is wrong, it will kill people. Yi Yuan went up to the front. Yi Yuan is not the predecessor of the girl. After all, it is his family. Yi Yuan naturally has to take care of each other's face, so the voice is very low. This master, called Qian, has been enshrined in Yi Jiadang for some years. His qualifications are very old and his status is very respectful. Although Dan Dao was not as good as Yi Hang, he was never a mediocrity. He heard a small asterisk who couldn't understand it, and his face suddenly sank. Xiaoyuan, nonsense. You have to forget about it in the past, but you have to smash the foundation of your hard work. I can't spare you the first money. You must know that Yaoshangge has today's status. Not only because of the family, but our old bones are also a lot of force. Well, come back, there are so many patients waiting to see a doctor. Qian is obviously very emotional to Yaoshangge, but he has no good temper for Yi Yuan. The tiger father and the dog, Qian Shin's heart also felt sorry for Yi Hang more than once. Today, this kid actually went to his head again, and also threatened to hear that he was hurting. Where would he have any good looks? If he didn't look at Yi Hang's face, he slammed Yi Yuan to the fan. For Qian's reaction, Yi Yuan had expected that he did not care about the ironic words. After all, the predecessor was indeed the best. If it is not the diagnosis of Qian Wei, the reputation of Yaoshangge, Yi Yuan will not take this head, continue to be his awkward. According to his prescription, the brawny will not be rescued, but will be poisoned. I am afraid that I will not be able to support it this evening. For the medicine incense, the monster hunter is a very important source of tourists. The beast hunters are accompanied by danger every day. If they are injured, they will not say it. Just like the usual meals, they are inbound forests, medicines, and poisoning. It is also a must. An important source of income for the family. If this strong man dies in the medicine incense, the reputation of Yi Jia in the monster hunter will be greatly hit, and even some competitors may use this to attack the medicine incense. The loss will be great. Thinking of this, Yi Yuankai had to stand up and correct the misdiagnosis of Qian. Yi Yuan hasn't said anything yet. The green child on the side is not doing it. He swears at the money and says, the young master is not nonsense. He must have his reason to say this. Yi Yuan looked at the green child a little strangely, and the heart of this Shaonizi actually trusted himself. Before the predecessor, there was no less teasing of her, and the former virtue was placed there, and the green child actually believed. Trust is trust, but Yi Yuan also knows that Green's words will escalate things. The masters are not tolerant, not to mention the fact that the two juniors have repeatedly questioned his level. Sure enough, Qian Yan's face was so deep that it was dripping out of water. Shen Sheng said, I don't know how to make a big girl with a thick face. You talk about it, how can the old man hurt? The poison of the 7 torrents is Yi Hang. Here is also such a rule of law, just rely on your 2 squeaky juniors, but also dare to set my own prescription. If you can't say ugly today, you will wait for the board. Although Qian Cheng was a little higher, he did not bother what means to the next person. Yi Jia did not dare to offend him. But today the 2 young people are so troubled that he will not come to Taiwan, do not take some prestige, and will not be able to stand in Yi family in the future. The Brawny did not expect to make such a noise. I didn't know how to be there at the moment. How did this family pick up? However, although Qian Wei's prestige in the capital is not as good as Yi Hang, it is also well known, and the entire medicine incense is counted. On one side, the master is famous, and on the other hand, the boy who is not stinky, the fool knows who the letter is. The Zhuang Han did not know who the young man was in front of him. However, Qian had just fired it down. He also returned to the taste. He dared to be the son of Master Yi. As a monster hunter, things in the country are naturally not heard. The name of this son is afraid to be bigger than the master of money. Such a dude even came to the diagnosis of the master of money, this kid is not idle to harm my life. The Brawny thought so, and it took a lot of time. He didn't recruit anyone who didn't provoke anyone. He would have been killed for no reason. This kid is young and his heart is so poisonous. This little brother, Master Qian is giving you treatment, and please don't bother. The strong Chinese language is low, but although the words are polite, the attitude of catching people is already obvious. It is also the power of Yi family that he can't afford, otherwise he will not listen to it. Hey, this strong man, I have trouble waiting for you for a while. I have spent all my life intoxicated with the medicinal remedy, the mortal and the martial arts who have been treated, and have never been defiled as a victim. Yi Yuan, you are today. Tell me how I hurt him. Qian's temper is obviously coming up, and he has to give Yi Yuan a lesson before he can give up. This, Master Qian, the poison on the lower body, the more dangerous it is, the more dangerous it is, and the masters are not to deflate, first to help under the poison. They are just 2 ignorant young people, and they are arrogant. Thinking of the money master seriously, I had to give my heart. Qian Cheng waved his hand indifferently. He said, you can rest assured that you can't delay much time. This poisonous old man still has a bit of control and won't let you die. If this is not clear today, what will the future husband do? Nice to sit here for consultation. After that, he turned to Yi Yuan again, black face, you talk about it. If you can't say why, come on, don't blame me for selling old, and telling your father. Yi Yuan has not been snoring at the side. When he saw Qian Cheng asking questions, he said, there is no such thing as a poison in the 7 strong men. Nonsense. My 2 companions are buried in this pass. I can't come back myself. Do I admit my mistake? Wonko, I have nothing to do with you, why do you want me to die? After Yi Yuan's words have not been finished, he was robbed by the Brawny. Ha ha, Qian Shao burst into laughter and laughed and tears came out quickly. He said, is there any? I don't know what it is. I don't know the child. I will get out of the way, let me go here, I will let you boom out. Qian Yan can diagnose the poison in the strong man at a glance, and I am convinced. And how can the Zhuanghan get away from it? The wicked hunter is dealing with the monster all day long. It can be said that apart from his family, they are the most familiar to the monster, and the possibility of admitting the mistake is even smaller. Get out of the way, don't delay the money master to give us a diagnosis. This bare child, even the demolition of his son's desk, really did not save. If I had such a son, I would beat him into a mud as soon as I can. At this time, people who watched the lively people could not stand it anymore. They thought that this was just a farce that Yi Yuan had made, and they all rushed out. At this time, The green child did not have the righteousness and strength, and pulled the corner of the leaf, which looked a little awkward. However, she did not retreat, but instead went up a little half-step, just in front of Yi Yuan. She was afraid that these people would attack and harm Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan was moved in the heart, but he shook his head and said calmly, "It is not necessarily true that you see it with your own eyes. This one of the strong men is not the poison of the 7 clouds, but the poison of the colorful clouds." Chapter 5 Hematemesis. I don't know what it is. What kind of colorful clouds are unheard of? You think that such a monster will come out? Can you get away with it? Qian Qi is also a very accomplished person in the Qin dynasty. He has also studied the nature of the monster. What colorful clouds? He has never heard of it. Even he has never heard of it, let alone Yi Yuan, a kid who doesn't learn anything. Yi Xiaoye, you are not only insulting the money master and me, but also insulting our monster hunters. Our hunters are all living under the claws of the monsters, and they are familiar with the monsters. I did it. For so many years, the monster hunter has never heard of any colorful clouds. At this time, the strong man even thinks that Yi Yuan has nothing to do with it. This is to murder his life, so he is no longer polite or even a bit worried. The little person has a small person's lifestyle. This strong man seems to be rude, but in fact it is thick and thin. His life also pointed to the money to save, did not want to offend the money, so he tied himself with himself, but moved out of the group of the beast hunter, just to make Yi Yuan difficult to retreat. Even if Yi Yuan does not know how difficult it is to retreat, Yi family will not be as ignorant as Yi Yuan, offending the entire group of monster beasts. Many of the people who came here were monster beasts. After listening to this, they immediately blasted the pot. Yes, what colorful clouds have never been heard? This second ancestor, I really lost face to Master Yi. I saw that Yi family is also a generation of scenery. It is not as good as the Drunk Star building. It is also colorful. I have been mixing in the infinite forest for 30 years. I have never heard of such a monster. Don't look at it, don't read it, let's go to the Drunk Star building. It's a good medicine, and it's been smoky by a second generation. Yi Yuan has been standing there and has not made a sound, which makes Qian, who is familiar with him, feel a little unbelievable. If this is the case, Yi Yuan has already fried the pot, but now it is like nothing, as if the patients were not jealous of him. However, Yi Yuan swept his face today, and he was not afraid of where to say. Let this kid suffer and suffer. If this continues, the family business that Lao Yi earned will sooner or later be defeated in this kid's hand. Yi Yuan's gaze slowly turned to the crowds, and swept away from the faces of the most joyful people. Those people were still very proud of it, but I don't know why. After seeing it with Yi Yuan, the whole person has the feeling of falling like a hail. Yi Yuan's gaze finally settled on the face of the first person who provoked the crowd to go to the Drunk Star building. The man was in a state of sneak peek, and instantly felt locked by a smashing murder, the expression on his face. It's cruel, it's weird. It is a very refined middle-aged man and a monster hunter. Anyone who knows him knows that he is called Luan, but no one knows that he is actually the undercover of the drunken hunter. Once he discovers something precious in the infinite forest, he will kill the goods and then turn them over to the Drunk Star building. The Drunk Star building is the biggest competitor of Yaoshangge in Qin. Suddenly, the noisy hall was cold, and the noisy sound seemed to be stopped by the waterfall. For a time, a quiet needle in the hall could be heard on the ground, and it was terrible. Luan was stared at by Yi Yuan, and his heart was like this. What happened? Yi Yuan, this kid clearly has only one strength of heavy energy. He has an 8-fold vitality. One hand can pinch the dead leaves. How can there be a sense of oppression against a terrible opponent, so that he can't even dare to come out? Yi Yuan's strength is clear at a glance. In this hall, except for mortals, he can almost see his realm at a glance. How can such a weak and explosive boy give such a strong sense of oppression? Luan felt that this must be an illusion, but the quiet hall reminded him at all times, this is not an illusion. This feeling of oppression made him uncomfortable, and he was extremely tempted to break this state. An octagonal atmosphere is oppressed by a one-dimensional gas, and it is a joke. Luan decided to break this joke. He forced a real element and was about to make a sound. Yi Yuan's gaze was removed from him. The difference between the colorful stream cloud and the seven-stream cloud is a kind of two kinds of monsters with completely different attributes. At this moment, Yi Yuan spoke. Puff. Yi Yuanian said half of it and was interrupted by a voice. Everyone came along with this voice and found that this voice was sent by Luan, and at this time he had a long-awaited blood spray and splashed many people. He forced a real Yuan to talk, but Yi Yuan just removed the pressure exerted on him, and the chest seemed to be hit by a heavy hammer. In addition, he did have some injuries on his body. He directly squirted a blood, and it was already hurt and injured. Young master, this person seems to be very hurt, or let the master of money give him a cure. Green child then pulled the corner of the leaf, full of sympathy. Yi Yuan's face slightly showed a surprised expression, but his heart was happy to open the flower, and this little Nizi was so sensible, and the knife was so good. The chicken is used to kill the chicken. The strong man looks serious. In fact, it is only a slight internal injury. The heart of our medicine is very famous. Take one for him. Yi Yuan's face is brilliant. Smile. Looked at Luan. It's very scary for Green Boy to see Luan's appearance. Instead of Yi Yuan's instructions, he turned and went out to get the medicine, but this could scare Luan. No need. Also, there are so many people in front of me, plugging, the team is not good. Lu Angson guilty. Which is that? I know you can't believe me, don't you believe in the reputation of our medicine incense? I believe that everyone knows the name of Xin Dan. It is definitely a cure for you to cure this injury. Yi Yuan is very concerned. Said. After he finished this, even Qian Chang nodded. Yes, this time, there is no noise in the small distance. Although your injury is not heavy, it is not so fun to deteriorate. It is just right to protect your heart. In fact, Yi Yuan's eyes just stayed on several people, but the time spent on Lu's body was a little longer. Others could not feel the same, so they did not find anything wrong with Luan. At this time, Yi Yuan cares, although he does not know what medicine he sells in his gourd, but there is nothing wrong with saving people and treating diseases. The effort to speak, the green child has come back with a whirlwind of care. Young master, give. Green children invited the medicinal herbs to Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan turned and took the medicinal herbs, touched the head of the green child, and smiled. It's hard. Not hard. Green children shook their heads hard. Yi Yuan was facing away from everyone at this time, and other people could not notice the movements on his hands. Green children did not find it. If someone notices that Yi Yuan is holding the hand of the drug at this time, he will find that the drug is not held in his hand, but is suspended in the palm of his hand, and Yi Yuan's finger is shaking at a very high frequency. After talking with Green, Yi Yuankai turned around and went to Luan and handed the pill to him. Come, let me take it. Luan took care of Dan, but his face changed a lot. Did the kid really find something? Anyway, this kid is not a good bird, but also cares about people coming. When Luan was in a state of uneasiness, his eyes swept to the side of Qian, and immediately went to the righteous words. Master Qian, not careful, but the reputation of Yi Xiaoye is really not good. To be honest, this Dan I don't trust the medicine, please master the master. He said that everyone is nodding, but the green child is not doing it. How do you guys bite Lu Dongbin, do not know the good heart? Our young master is good to save you, but you doubt him. Hey, what kind of people are your young masters? Everyone knows, is there any mistake in doubt? Luan was also hard at this time, and refused to eat. Qian Yan looked at Yi Yuan and found that Yi Yuan was very calm, and he was not angry because of it. His heart was even more suspicious. He took another look at the medicinal herbs in Luan's hands. He took a closer look and heard it again. He said, this is indeed our heart, and there is nothing wrong with it. And this one, the heart of the medicine is fragrant, obviously the color is better, the grade is better than the average. I am not asking you to eat this heart, but you are not hurt now, it will affect the future practice, I advise you still take it. Luan is really awkward now. Is it really my own heart? Yi Yuan, this kid heard that he just escaped from the dead. Is this a change? Qian, this old child is the most right, can't fool me. Thinking of this, Lu Andao thanked him, and he will take care of him. Chapter 6 Change Prescription. When Dan medicine entered the abdomen, Luan only felt refreshed and refreshed. It seems that the whole person has relaxed a lot. The effect is quite good. It seems that Yi Yuan's kid is really turning, and he actually took a piece of Shangxin Dan to him. At this moment, Luan felt that some of the gentleman's heart was the heart of a gentleman. This strong man, how is it? Yi Yuan asked with a smile. Luan arched his hand and said with a slight gratitude, "Thank you, Master Yi, is in the middle of the Menglang, and I hope you will not remember the villain. However, let's go back to the topic. I am so ignorant, I have never heard of it. What colorful clouds are flowing?" This Luan did not forget his task, and he was hurt, and immediately pulled back the topic. Just this noisy, all people's attention has been diverted, and I really forgot this. Now Luan once again mentioned that everyone has suddenly realized that he once again cast a contemptuous look at Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan smiled faintly and said, "In fact, this colorful stream cloud is a variant of the 7 streams. It is just that there are 7 clouds, and the colorful clouds are not common. The snakes are yin, therefore, most of the snakes are sinister, but there are also a few variants that become positive. This colorful stream cloud is one of them. The shape of the colorful stream cloud is not much different from that of the 7 clouds, so it is called a colorful stream cloud because it has a 7-color flower in its 7-inch skin. The cloud is tall, and the strong man confronts him positively. He can't see the 7-color flower at 7 inches. Naturally, it is impossible to distinguish the difference between the colorful clouds and the 7 clouds. Just, the poison of these 2 kinds of monsters is yin poison, and the other is yang poison. If the method of solving the yin poison is used to solve the yang poison, it will naturally harm the strong man." After Yi Yuan finished, Qian's brow wrinkled. Yi Yuan's statement is quite similar, and there seems to be no flaws. If this strong man is really poisoned, his treatment will really hurt people. However, Yi Yuan has a few pounds and a few of them. He is too clear, even the monsters he has never heard of, how can he know? Even if he knows this monster, how does he see that the poison in this strong man is different from the 7 clouds? Hey, even if there is a colorful stream of clouds that you are talking about, how is the symptoms of poisoning on his body exactly the same? Qian said coldly. Yi Yuan smiled and said, "What's so strange? The colorful stream clouds and the 7 Sha Mang belong to the same sect. The symptoms after poisoning are naturally similar. But it is only similar. This strong man, you click on your Yi, try it at the next 7 inches. The brawny looked blank and saw the money nodded. He still measured it and pressed it down at the 7-inch position. This press didn't make much effort, but his face immediately showed a painful expression, and then a blood spurted out. As soon as the blood came to the ground, suddenly a stench came from the nose, which made people feel dizzy, apparently containing highly toxic. This, Qian is very surprised. It is not uncommon for the 7 sputum to be poisonous, so he knows it after a little diagnosis. However, as far as he knows, it is absolutely impossible for this to happen. Although the poison of the 7 miles is so powerful, it is far from such a hegemony. Yi Yuan's brow was slightly wrinkled and he said, "Come, clean up here." If it was in the past, he told me that no one would agree. But at this moment, the 2 servants who came out of the servant immediately came in to pick up. These people apparently also deal with this kind of thing often, and quickly cleaned the ground. The expression on Qian's face was faint and uncertain. In the end, she took a deep breath and said, "Afar from the child's opinion, how can the solution of this colorful stream cloud be solved?" What he said is that he admits that he has misdiagnosed him just now, but in the presence of so many people, he naturally cannot apologize to a younger generation, so he is more implicit. Moreover, his name for Yi Yuan has quietly changed, and this, far child, seems to be close to many. In his capacity, this, far child, is naturally shouted. Even so, his remarks caused a stir in the crowd. Yin toxic should be solved by yang, and yang poisoning should be explained by yin. Qian Bo has a deep understanding of pharmacology. The medicine just now is not a big mistake, just change the positive drug into a negative one. Biliucow, Zhu Soul Sand is a neutral medicine, and the Ironwind Eagle is yang, and the Eagle Gram Snake, if it is the poison of the 7 Sha Lu Yun Meng, this medicine is the best. Now, as long as the iron-winged eagle is replaced by lightning Dan can. Of course, the poison of the colorful clouds is even more blazing, plus some extremely yin mantuo. Yi Yuanjun talked about it, and he had a well-thought-out look. The most important thing is that he said that there is a well-founded evidence. As long as he is a person who understands pharmacology, he can't refute his words at all. Green Child looked at the young man next to him and thought that he was too handsome today. Money master, is he reliable? The Brahmi asked hesitantly. Qian Yan looked at the strong man and shook his head and smiled. To tell the truth, I am still somewhat uncertain. But from the poisonous blood you just spit out, you are not like the 7 clouds, poison. But is the method he said feasible? What if I give my medicine to die? It is not that the strong man does not believe in the medicine incense, it is really the reputation of Yi Yuan before it is too loud. This preconceived cognition made him unable to believe Yi Yuan at all. Now this poison on his body is all Yi Yuan's mouth. It's true or false. No one can judge. How can he not be guilty? Qian Hao was a bitter smile. I don't know. But I think his method can be tried, you see. What are you still doing? Don't hurry to get the medicine. Do you have to wait for the patient to die? At this moment, a thunderous sound came, and everyone looked at the door, and a rough man came in. Yes, the owner, Xiao Yan, who was next to Qian, met the people and immediately went away. The coming person is not someone else, it is Yi Hang. Father, homeowner. Yi Yuan and Qian Wei each greeted Yi Hang. Yi Hang nodded slightly in front of Yi Yuan, and gave a thumbs up in gratified gaze. He smiled and said, this time allows you to learn the medicine of Tao. It seems that you are really turning. Calm down and give me the gift. The books are finished, very good. Not waiting for Yi Yuan to answer, he turned to the Brahmi. Little brother, my son said yes, you are indeed the poison of the colorful clouds, not the 7 clouds. This kind of monster is it's so rare that I don't see the old money. I'm very sorry. The recipe he opened is also correct. You can drink it as you like. If something goes wrong, my medicine is responsible for the end. How do you see it? Yi Hang's identity in the whole Qin state is very noble. It is impossible to see him here at all, and it is impossible to invite him to see a doctor. Today, he personally appeared to protect himself. Where do you have any doubts about the Brahmi? It seems that the youngest master of Yi family is a bit stunned, but it is not as exaggerated as the outside world is rumored. At least people have real materials. Chapter 77 Bloodshed. In the backyard of Yaoshangge, Yi Hang who witnessed Yi Yuan. Bad boy, honestly explain, how did you see it? Yi Yuan looked at his father innocently. Yimeng. Hey, I was almost fooled by you yesterday. Now it seems that you are really different from the past. This is a colorful stream, and I am unheard of. Even if I personally sit down, I am afraid that the result is the same as the old money. Quote. Now think about it, Yi Hang is also a little scared. If it's not the son of his own son, today's gold-plated sign is really awkward. The Brahmi had taken medicine, and it was no longer a problem. It was grateful to Yao Shangge and Yi Yuan. Originally an accident, but now because of Yi Yuan this accident has become a good thing. And it is foreseeable that after today, the prestige of the medicine incense in the Monster Hunter will be even worse. This potential benefit is unpredictable. What? Even the father does not know this. I thought that with your rumor on Dandao, it is a piece of cake to cure this poison. Yi Yuan pretends to be surprised. Small dish. Hey, I still have some status in this little Qin country, but out of Qin, your father, I don't even have a fart. What is the Great Dan, but it's just getting started on Danyao Avenue. It's nothing. Qin is a well, I am the baby at the bottom of the well, but it's a big frog. I don't know too much. Yi Hang suddenly laughed at himself, and it seemed a bit lonely. This made Yi Yuan somewhat surprised. In the memory of his predecessor, his father Yi Hang was a top-ranking figure. There seems to be nothing to stump him, and he has never seen his father show such expression. Yi Yuan can feel it. Yi Hang's reason for this is because he feels that his son has grown up, is sensible, and has a feeling of relief, and will relax the nerves that have been tight. Yi Yuan was moved in the heart, and his father was a son. I was afraid that I had broken my heart these years, but he never showed it in front of his son. Yi Yuan also remembered the former father of Zhengyang, who had mixed feelings in his heart. He couldn't bear to fight with Yi Hang again. He said, "Father, I know what you want to ask. Actually, I don't know what I am doing. But this time, I was poisoned. When I was dead, an expert met me in a dream and taught the skills of the child's martial arts and medicinal herbs. It was very profound and profound. The original child thought it was a dream, but when he woke up, he found that everything in his dreams was remembered. Clearly, it can be fully applied to reality. If it is not this high man, I am afraid that I will not see a child by my father's means." Yi Yuan could not tell Yi Heng that his son's body had been occupied by another soul, and he had to fabricate a good faith lie close to the truth. Yi Heng listened to Yi Yuan's words and could not help but be happy. There are even high-ranking people who have taken a fancy to their sons and taught their sons skills in their dreams. This is an unbelievable state for him. There is such a high man as a master, and the big stone that has been sinking in Yi Heng's heart for many years is finally put down. That, did the senior say who he is? He saved my life and thanked him as a father. Yi Yuan is shaking his head. The high man did not disclose his name, nor did he say why he would save me. He only said that I would understand the skills he taught. When the time comes, he will come back to me. It turns out that, when you see him next time, you must help him as a father. Yi Heng regrets. Yi Yuan smiled and said, "This is nature. Father, the baby has some things, just take a step." After a while, Yi Yuan appeared again in Yaoshangge, and said to the shopkeeper, "If someone comes to me, let him go to the house in the east of the city. In addition, there is a prescription to help me with the medicine." Luan was a little proud at this time, and some were slightly depressed. What he is proud of is that Yi Yuan's kid is really a stupid hat, and he will give the gift to the heart. The protective effect of the heart-protecting Dan seems to be surprisingly good. At this moment, he not only recovered from injury, but even faintly showed signs of breakthrough after the injury. He has been stuck in the eightfold situation for several years, and he has been slow to find the threshold of 9. Luan is ready to put the difference in the Drunk Star building in advance, and fully exerts the impact on the 9-fold situation. What is depressing to him is that the plan of the Drunken Star disaster has been defeated, and he has lost to a skeleton. Luan couldn't figure out how to solve the poison that even the Drunk Star building owner Wan Donghai couldn't cure. How did one see and solve it? This Wan Donghai is a level of existence with Yi Hang, and the rumors on Dandao are also faintly overpressing Yi Hang. How can Yi Hang, a son who doesn't learn anything, break this game? But it happened, under his eyes. Luan has some headaches now, how to go back to the landlord. Therefore, Luan simply did not believe that the strong man was Yi Yuan's good doctor, but Yi Hang was behind his back. Yi Yuan was just a chess piece that Yi Hang launched. It seems that this leaf is very deep in the voyage. Go back and remind the landlord to let him be careful. Luan thought about his mind while walking, and suddenly found that something was not quite right. There was some wetness under his nose, and he reached out and touched it. He was shocked and his hands were full of blood. Fire is booming. What kind of jokes? He is a martial art, how can it be because of the fire and nosebleed? Somehow, he suddenly remembered the sincere smile of Yi Yuan, and could not help but chill. Then he shook his head and denied the idea. He Luanka is not a rookie, although there is no such thing as a high level of money, but the real medicine fake medicine is still clearly distinguishable. The medicinal medicine is definitely a heart-protecting Dan, and it is a high-quality heart-protecting Dan. It must have been too much fire, and Luan comforted himself, but he soon found his thoughts too naive. After a while, his 2 eyes also bleed, followed by the ears, and finally spit a large amount of blood. The guilt is like a fire, and there is a feeling of burning inside. At this moment he was sure that he was really poisoned. Luan is also a person who walks on the edge of death all the year round. The more so, the more he is afraid of death. At this time, the whole person was paralyzed. In the past, when faced with a powerful monster, there was no despair at the moment of death. Luan has only one idea at this time, and that is to live. He desperately went to the medicine Shangge and left him with less time. The drug-clearing shopkeeper was shocked by the seven-blooded person. The other person grabbed his sleeve without hesitation and wanted to ask Miss Yi Yuan. The treasurer was stunned and did not respond for a moment. Suddenly he remembered the command of the young master when he left, so he told the address to the ***** person. When the other party went away, the shopkeeper was quite puzzled. This person is really strange. I don't want to find a master of money. What do you want to do with the young master? Is it difficult for the young master to cure? Like Luan, no one thinks that the matter of saving the Brawny is what Yi Yuan did. Chapter 8 Self-Seeking. In the east of the city, in the alchemy room of Yi Hang's house, the green child's eyes widened and looked at the yo-yo pill in Yi Yuan's hand. Wow, young master, when did you become so powerful? Yi Yuan smiled and pinched the green and tender powder nose. Not very airy. When is your master less powerful? It was a joke. Who knows that Green has seriously thought about it and nodded. Hey, people used to say that the young master is not, but I don't know why, I just think that the young master is very good. However, the young master is now better than before. More powerful. Right, what does this pill do? On the day of rebirth, Green has become the closest person to Yi Yuan, and there is nothing to hide. This is poison, very powerful. Greener seems to be scared and surprised. Ah, what did the young master do this thing? Yi Yuan smiled and said, nature is for people to eat. Green child thought about it again, and the color said, I understand, the young master refining this poison must be for the bad guys to eat. Yi Yuan haha smiled and said, walk, the bad guys are almost there, we go to the partial room and wait for him. When the two had just entered the living room, there were people who came to report it. A man with blood on his face asked for help in front of the house. Yi Yuansheng brought him to the man. Slightly tilted, the next person led a miserable Lu into the partial room. When Luan saw Yi Yuan, he immediately rushed over and hugged Yi Yuan's leg, crying and mourning, Yi Ye, I beg you to exalt your hand and save me. You and I have no complaints in the past, no evil, why do you want me to die? What? Yi Yuan looked disdainful, and he took a slap in the face and sat down. He said, there is no resentment in the past. There is no hate in the past. Do you really think that I am a fool? We have more of the heart of our family, and we will not take it out and feed the dog. You are honestly confessing to the antidote, or preparing to die and choose yourself. Was opened by Yi Yuan, Luan did not mean to resist, even climbed and climbed back, but this time did not dare to go up to hold the thigh. Yi Yuan is just a heavyweight. Even if this foot is full of real yuan, it will not cause any substantial harm to Luan. As for whether Luan will jump over the wall, Yi Yuan is naturally not worried. Because Lu Enjun is a singer, he can't cohesion. Yi Xiaoye, I really don't know what you mean. I just came to the medicine to see a doctor. Even if there is a crime of sin, can you not sin? I am just a small person, begging Yi Xiaoye to me. When you are a fart, let it go. Luan was crying and ruthless. Yi Yuan did not speak, just looked at Luan's horrible face and saw Luan's heart panic. Luan still holds the last trace of luck at this time, hoping that Yi Yuan is just a plague and a mischief. He put down his rhythm and hoped to give Yi Yuan the antidote to him. His identity cannot be seen. If it is known, it will be collectively pursued by the monster hunter. However, Yi Yuan used this kind of gaze for a long time, and Luan's heart gradually sank into the bottom. Yi Yuan looked at Luan and suddenly smiled, laughing at his heart. Yi Xiaoye, oh, don't say it doesn't matter, I have time, but you don't have much time. Do you think that you are burning inside? The whole person seems to be burning. This is just the beginning, and after a while, your skin will be can't stand it. The inch cracked open, and eventually the whole person would sing aloud and burst like a watermelon. Yi Yuan said. He also made a gesture of explosion, and Luan's whole person trembled as if he had exploded with Yi Yuan's gesture. At this time, Luan was no luck. Yi Yuan must have seen what came. Thinking of this, Luan's heart suddenly calmed down. This is the instinct that has been practiced as a monster hunter. It's just that he is very insidious and cunning. At this point, his mind turns and he counts his heart. At this moment, it is impossible to want to be as old as before. He decided to hold it out. As long as he defrauded Yi Yuan's antidote in his hand, he immediately killed Yi Yuan and the little girl and then looked at him. Luan is also a decisive person. Once he is determined, he will not be dragged down. It is only that he naturally does not show his inner thoughts, but continues to maintain a wretched and unrestrained look to paralyze Yi Yuan. Luan continued to squat, and the mouth kept saying, Yi Ye, I am wrong, I really know that it is wrong. You can't help you with anything. I'm willing to tell Yi Xiaoye everything, just ask Yi Xiaoye. A small life. Yi Yuan seems to be very satisfied with Luan's performance. He laughs. It depends on whether the information you have said has any value. If it is really valuable, it will naturally not be difficult for a small person like you. Luan listened to the big joy in his heart, and this little boy was really spoiled and gave him a little honey. I don't hesitate to take the whole thing out. Things in Yi Yuan expected to be similar. The strong man first went to several Dan pharmacies, and occasionally there were doctors who could understand the poison of the 7 clouds, but they were helpless. Don't look at the money in front of Yi Yuan, but look at the whole Qin state as the top number. He can see and heal the poison of the colorful clouds, and it does not mean that others can do it. It is also worth losing that those people can't cure it, otherwise the strong man has already died in poison. In desperation, the Brawny actually went to the Drunk Star building. Coincidentally, the Drunk Star building owner Wan Donghai happened to be in the Drunk Star building, and saw the Brawny. In fact, the doctor on duty at the Drunk Star house and Qian Qi's argument are similar, but it was seen that Wan Donghai, who was not right, stopped it in time and asked him to ask Gao Ming. This Qin country, in addition to the Drunk Star building as the medicine incense, this brave man does not go to the medicine incense to try luck. What can I do? Wan Donghai can see that it is not right, but like Yi Hang, there is no way for this poison, nor do they know the solution. The one who knows you the most is your enemy. Wan Donghai will not solve this poison. So he sent Luan to see the patient's team, waiting for the opportunity to ignite inside and ruin the reputation of Yaoshangge. If you can't control it at the end of the day, it's best to shake the monster hunter and take the medicine. In this way, even if you can't destroy the medicine, you can make them famous, and then you can't compete with the Drunk Star building. Luan is also just returning to the capital of the Qin state. He still has injuries on his body, and he is smart, and it is a good thing to do this. All the original things were carried out in accordance with Wan Donghai's expectations. Who knows that halfway through the process of killing a bite, Yi Yuan actually mistakenly misunderstood the poison, so that Luan could not play. Oh, it really is Wan Donghai, a good trick to lead the water. Yi Yuan sneered. This Wan Donghai and his father have always been the opposite of each other. They are both great Danes and have a pivotal position in the country. Just different from Yi Hang, Wan Donghai is insidious and unscrupulous. Yi Yuan is no stranger to Wan Donghai. Although his predecessor was not qualified as an opponent of Wan Donghai's son Wan Yuan was the former rival of Danwu College. Of course, the so-called dead rivalry is just that Wan Yuan has been bullying Yi Yuan, and Yi Yuan has no power to fight back. Although Wan Yuan is also a shackle, but Wu Shui Dan is very good, not only has reached the realm of 6 vitality, Dan medicine has also become a Dan. Even in the Danwu Academy, where talented people are born, Wan Yuan is a highly talented genius and highly acclaimed. In contrast, Yi Yuan simply did not match his shoes. In fact, Yi Yuan's poisoning thing, he later inferred the memory of his predecessor, 80% is the ghost of this Wan Yuan behind his back. Good, very good. The old hatred has not gone, and new enemies have been added. Wan Jia, the father and son, our Liangzi is counted. Yi Yuan sneered in his heart. Yi Xiaoye, I said what I said, I should not say it, you see, Luan weak. Just now, he even said that he was the undercover of the Drunk Star building, in order to obtain Yi Yuan's trust and defraud the antidote. Yi Yuan nodded with satisfaction, took out the poison that had just been refining, and threw it to Lu Andao. Yes, you performed very well, and this antidote will be rewarded to you. Luan took over the antidote, and suddenly became overjoyed. He didn't want to swallow it, and immediately meditated to resolve the drug. Sure enough, the drug went into the abdomen and his original stagnation of the real element began to flow. He suddenly opened his eyes, and the cheetah slid out in general, turned his palms into his claws, and grabbed the throat of Yi Yuan. Ah, young master! The green child screamed and jumped to Yi Yuan without thinking about it. This claw is fierce and unusual. With the momentum that has been smashed out between life and death, it is impossible to deal with the little rookie Yi Yuan. However, this claw was born 3 inches before the green throat. Then, Luan fell to the ground and twitched on the ground, and the expression on his face was painfully distorted. Yi Yuan pulled the green child away from behind, and looked at Luan on the ground with mercy. He sneered. You can't live because of this, you can't live. If you don't mind, this poison is still bad. It won't be attacked so early, but you have a poisonous mind and you have to suffer a lot. Why, Luan twitched and licked the words from his teeth. Yi Yuan smiled and said, you think that the heart care I gave you in the medicine incense is poison. In fact, it is really protecting the heart. But the medicinal medicine has been purified several times, and the effect is naturally fierce. Several times. You were bleeding, and the symptoms of really bad yuan are actually only some side effects. It doesn't matter to your body. When the effect is over, you not only have nothing, but may go further. But you just eaten the medicinal herb is a real poisonous dan, and the medicinal properties are extremely fierce. The person who takes it is suffering from the 3 times of the liver every day, and it is more powerful than once, until death. Yi Yuan's words were clearly introduced into Lu's ears, which seemed to make him more convulsive. Chapter 9 Come not to indecent ass. Drunk Star House, people come and go, bustling. In the building, a middle-aged man in a Chinese costume looked a little anxious and paced back and forth. And he was still sitting next to a middle-aged man, but he looked very calm. Big brother, then Luan did not have any news. Is the poison of the strong man solved by Yi Hang? The person who spoke is the one who was struggling, called Wan Dongyang, but the same brother of Wan Donghai and a Dan teacher. The nature that sits on the side is the land of the drunk star building, Wan Donghai. Wan Donghai is calm and calm. Dongyang, you are not safe, and Yi Hang has a few pounds. I am too clear. He can't solve the poison. We are waiting for the good news here. Quote, oh, big brother, this medicine incense pavilion and we have been fighting for so many years, it is so easy to encounter such an opportunity, do not completely kill them, how can we hate our hearts? Wan Dongyang gritted his teeth. Oh, Troyo, your temperament of the donkey has to be changed, otherwise it is difficult to break through to the realm of the great Dan. The poison in the strong man is quite strange, if I expected it to be good, it is the legendary the colorful clouds are poisonous. If I had seen a few words in a disability book in my early years, I was afraid that this was the result of our drunkenness. But since I met, I should be alive. It's just unlucky to be unlucky, and it's not realistic to want to take down Yi Hang. This is the biggest thing that makes us overpower them in business. Wan Donghai is still the old well. This is what Wan Donghai said, but Wan Dongyang's face is not a little unpleasant. The step of Dan Shi to Da Dan Shi seems to be simple. In fact, it is difficult to go to heaven. Otherwise, the Da Dan division of the whole Qin state will not be so rare. However, his impetuous temper is afraid that he is not prepared to change. He still anxiously said, Big brother, how do I always feel wrong? Or do we still send individuals to inquire about the situation there? Wan Donghai was afraid of stunned the snakes and provoked Yi Hang's attention. Apart from Luan, he did not send people to inquire about the news. However, if there is a trouble there, I should have received the news here. Is there really something unexpected? Well, you send someone to inquire about it in the past. Wan Donghai said a little, and said. Wan Donghai did not worry about Luan's accident. After all, he was not on the surface with the drunk star building. He was just a monster hunter. Wan Dongyang was ordered to send people out, but he heard a quick knock on the door. The landlord, the big things are not good, some people are making trouble. Wah! The door was pulled open from the inside, Wan Donghai cold face with a face to the shopkeeper. Who is it? Whoever eats the ambition of the leopard, dare to start the earth in the age of 2. What are you doing? Wan Dongyang listened to someone making trouble, and the temper was immediately coming up. The treasurer bitterly said, they are not a troublemaker, it is to see a doctor. When Wan Donghai's face sank, the shopkeeper quickly changed his mind. No, no, they used to see the doctor to kick the pavilion. Who is it? Wan Donghai's patience has been wiped out. Yes, is the cockroach of Yi family, Yi Yuan, the son of Yi Hang. The shopkeeper trembled. A cockroach will scare you like this, are you asterisk asterisk? You want this shopkeeper still want to do it. Wan Dongyang heard Yi Yuan, cannot wait to tear the shopkeeper. Forget it, let's go ahead and see. Wan Donghai issued a command. When the three people came to the front hall, they saw a young man sitting in the place where the original shopkeeper should sit. Wan Donghai took a look at the shopkeeper, but at this time it was not the time to punish him. Wan Donghai is about to deal with Yi Yuan, but he is stunned by Luan, who is lying on the ground like a dead dog. Yi Yuan saw the appearance of Wan Donghai, stood up in front of him, and smiled and said, "The landlord, Xiaoyan, is a bit abrupt today, please don't be surprised." The muscles on Wan Donghai's face were a little twitching. He pressed the palm of his hand and shot the dead leaves. He squeezed a ugly smile. Where is the sage? I am a small animal born without long eyes. We drunk the star floor and scatter the wild. If you want to come, please say hello beforehand, lest we lose the number of gifts. Wan Donghai hated the teeth most, but refused to eat the loss, and turned Yi Yuan into a small beast. Everyone knows that the Drunk Star Building and the Medicine Incense House do not deal with it, but everyone will still be amiable on the surface. They are all open to the door to do business. If it is a big fight, who will dare to see a doctor in the future? Yi Yuan's heart smirked that Wan Donghai's heart was narrow, but his mouth was still smiling. I am also a sigh of relief, and I have to go to the door to disturb. The long-awaited Wan Dao is the first in the Qin dynasty. I came to the door to discuss a way to save people. Yi Yuan said that Wan Donghai could not help but tear him away. If there is only one of his Drunk Star buildings here, then this will be said. However, Yi Yuanlai Drunk Star Building knocked on the road, for fear that he did not know that he brought people to the Drunk Star Building to kick the pavilion, which attracted a lot of peers. At this time, the front hall of the Drunk Star Building was surrounded by water. In the face of so many peers, Wan Donghai is the first in the Qin dynasty, and he is very worried. You must know that the great Dan of this imperial city can be more than Wan Donghai and Yi Hang. Not to mention other people, it is said that there is also a great Dan teacher in the royal family. If this word is passed to the ears of the royal family, he can be like a needle felt. The royal intelligence system is spread all over the country, and the ghosts know that there are no royal spies in the crowd. Wan Donghai was as uncomfortable as eating a fly at this time, but he had to smile with a smile. Where is the saying of Yingxian? Where can I be the first in Qin state? At least the level of Dan Dao of your father and your uncle is not in me. Underneath. However, it is a bit strange that Yin Xian came to Drunk Star House to seek medical treatment. If you don't ask for such a master, why come to our Drunk Star Building? Yi Yuan smiled and said, I am in a hurry to take power. Once you are drunk, the Star House has always been honored as the first city of the imperial city. Second, of course, it is because it is close to here. Yi Yuan said, referring to Luan, who is like a dead dog, with a look of compassion, I was struggling when I met this person on the road. I thought that God had a good life, and he took him to the Drunk Star Building. Seek medical attention, who knows that you have changed a few masters here, this is the first city. Wan Donghai suddenly discovered that he was less than half cheaper in front of this boy. No, Yuaner also reported back yesterday that he designed to poison Yi Hang's son. How did this kid appear in the Drunk Star Building today? This does not say. If Yi Yuan casually lifted the individual to find fault, Wan Donghai naturally does not look in the eyes. However, he was brought up by Luan, which is too coincidental. If it is medically good, it is good to say that if the doctor is not good, what should Luan sell when he is drunk? Luan's identity can't be seen. There are a lot of peers here, and there are many monster hunters. Once Lu's identity is exposed, it's definitely a huge blow to the Drunk Star Building. Having said that, what happened to Luan? When he went to the medicine incense, he was still fine, but he suffered some internal injuries. How did he come back to become a dead dog? With Dan Dao of Wan Donghai, I can see that Luan is poisoned at a glance, but what poison can make so many masters do nothing? Finally let the treasurer please come out. For a moment, Wan Donghai thought a lot and found that today's things are very unusual. If it is not handled well, it may bring a heavy blow to the Drunk Star building. Chapter 10 In the way of his own, he also. Wan Donghai now regrets that he did not send someone to visit the medicine. Now the situation is unknown and he is very passive. The problem is that he did not expect that Luan, who was so deep in hiding, had an accident. Floor, landlord, save me. Luan on the ground has been weak and shouted. When Lu Anyi spoke, it seemed to touch the sensitive nerves of Wan Donghai, and he tightened his brows tightly, and it became an inverted character. Hey, Wanlu, how do I feel that this friend seems to know you? Yi Yuan seems to have discovered the new world in general. He deliberately made this statement so loud that everyone heard it. Others have no feelings when they listen to nature, but they are not in the ears of Wan Donghai. Wan Donghai hated the extreme, but did not care. Yin Yin said, Wanmu is still a reputation in the Imperial City. I also saved a lot of monster hunters in the Drunk Star building, he knows me naturally. Quote. Yi Yuan suddenly realized. It turned out to be like this. I sent this friend to come, but I never said that he is a monster hunter. How can the Wanlu master see it at a glance? The main building of the Wanlu is eye-catching, and Xiaoyan admire it. Originally, the audience was still unknown. Now, as far as Yi Yuan is concerned, it seems to understand something, and the atmosphere becomes weird. Luan is just a martial art of the 8 elements. It is not surprising that he knows Wan Donghai, but Wan Donghai recognizes that he is a monster hunter at a glance. This is not to say that Wan Donghai can't know the monster hunter. On the contrary, he knows a lot. However, at his level, the hunter of the sorcerer who knows is at least a spiritual warrior, and is also one of the best. Luan, such a small person, how can Wan Donghai know? There is no impenetrable wall in the world. There have always been rumors that the Drunk Star family sent people into the team of hunters and hunted their companions. It's just that no one has evidence, and the Drunk Star building is indeed powerful and has rescued a lot of monster hunters, so the rumors have been rumors. Yi Yuan intentionally or unintentionally led to the contradiction between Wan Donghai, which made Wan Donghai's words seem to have some taste, so that everyone had to have some ideas. At the time of Wan Donghai's heart, there are already thousands of grass mud horses in the rushing, but it is far from the leaves. Yi Yuan made the sound so loud, that is, in order to let Wan Donghai vote for the rat, he did not dare to shoot him. Oh, hee, Yin Xian misunderstood. This person has some skills, but also in his body, the eye-catching people see 8 achievements as the monster beast. Wan Donghai hit a ha-ha. Yi Yuan's purpose has been reached, and it is not entangled in this. Others let everyone fantasize about it. It turns out that the main building is not strange. Xiaoshuan was recently poisoned and almost killed. There are always some doubts. Maybe I think more. The rumors are naturally nonsense. Right, let's talk here. For a long time, I almost forgot to save people. You look at this friend's eyes. He regards Wanlu as his loved one. Oh no, it is a savior. Yi Yuan took a long time and finally returned to the topic. Anyway, disgusting death does not pay for life. Yi Yuan naturally does not mind more disgusting Wan Donghai, but also for the former to discuss a little interest. Wan Donghai is now arguing, and Yi Yuan does not give him this opportunity. He frowned and glanced at Luan on the ground and said, Come, bring this friend to the back hall, I will diagnose it for him. When Wan Donghai talked about half of it, he was interrupted by Yi Yuan. Millions of landlords, you see so many friends coming today, they all want to see the Dandao style of the 10,000-story landlord. The Wanlu owner can't let everyone down. The owner of the Wanlu is the first in the Imperial City, but not many people have actually seen the shots of the Wanlu master. The ears are ashamed to see the truth. The Wanlu masters will show some strength to everyone's eyes, and let me wait for the younger generation to have a chance to learn. Am I right? Everyone is watching the excitement. If there is a good show, nature will not let it go, so it will echo. Wan Donghai was riding a tiger and looked at Yi Yuan. He couldn't wait to take him 1,000. He is also a master-level figure, in the face of so many people can be pushed to the corner by a junior. Isn't it detoxification? I will give you a look. In this Qin country, what other poisons can he not solve? Not to mention that this poison was made by a junior like Yi Yuan. Wan Donghai understands Yi Hang. This is definitely not the intention of Yi Hang. The guy is coming from the bright and bright. Even if he wants to play the museum, he will not send his son. This is definitely the birth of Yi Yuan. A slap in the face. Can you turn over the sky? Although it is not a good thing to play a junior's face, since you sent it to me to play, don't you fight, isn't you too sorry for you? Wan Donghai waved his sleeves and said, since everyone has this yaxing, I will detoxify this friend in front of everyone. Come and let him go. This time, the onlookers were just like the chicken blood, and they swarmed in. They really want to see Yi Yuan, the well-known super cockroach, why with the drunk star floor landlord. At this time, the fool did not believe that Luan was hit by Yi Yuan on the road. This poison is one of the 8/9 that Yi Yuan himself drummed out. As for the poisoned person, even if it is not as rumored, it must be inextricably linked to the drunk star building. Many of the people present were in the industry, and they all knew about it in the morning. In connection with this situation at the moment, some smart people have guessed that Yi Yuan is still using his own way. Wan Donghai looked at Luan, who was half dead, and couldn't wait to slap him in the palm of his hand. I didn't do anything, but I brought so much trouble to myself. At this time, Luan had already suffered from a muddy mud, and twitched from time to time, just like a dead fish. No way, Wan Donghai didn't want to marry his sign and had to rescue him. Wan Donghai will turn Luan's eyelids for a while, and will cut off Lu's tops for a while. After a long time of drumming, a heart gradually sinks into the bottom of the valley, and the brows are locked tighter. He couldn't see the slightest clue. A great Dan teacher could not diagnose the poison in the patient. This is simply incredible. If Luan is not a dead fish at this time, Wan Donghai even suspects that he is not colluding with Yi Yuan to dismantle Taiwan. Big brother, how? Seeing Wan Donghai's frowning, Wan Dongyong had a bad feeling. Go, take my refining top detoxification Dan. It seems that a lot of determination. Wan Donghai bite his teeth. What? The top product is detoxifying Dan, but you are not easy to refine it and prepare it for your highness, but now it is used on him. Wan Dongyong was surprised. Let you go, how come nonsense? Wan Donghai also lost patience and became annoyed. Chapter 11 Murder. Wan Dongyong has never seen such a big anxiety in the big brother. He did not dare to neglect and went to Danfang to take the third order top grade detoxification. Detoxification Dan is a universal remedy, which is what poison can cure, but how effective the drug depends on the specific situation of the poison in the poisoned person. The general poison, detoxification is almost the drug to the disease, so it is also one of the most widely used and most applicable remedies. In Yi Yuan's eyes, Jiayu Dan is a low-ranking immortal, each grade has it. That is to say, there is a first-order detoxification Dan, a second-order detoxification Dan, until the fifth-order detoxification. As for the poison of the fifth order or above, the detoxification is basically useless. Because the poisons of the fifth or higher order are either unique or extremely rare, the role of detoxification can be minimal. This detoxification Dan of Wan Donghai refining is not a universal product in the Qin dynasty. It belongs to the third-order Shengpin detoxification Dan. It is his life's favorite work. The detoxification of these grades is that the calculation of Yi Hang is also unrecognizable. Even if he is the same as Dan Da, there is a specialization in the industry. Yi Yuan knows that in terms of poisoning and detoxification, his father Yi Hang is far worse than Wan Donghai. This is also why Yi Hang gave Yi Yuan only a third-order product to detoxify Dan, but at this time Wan Donghai was able to come up with the third-order top-grade detoxification. This detoxification Dan can basically represent the peak level of Qin state in this respect. Even the uncle, in this respect, is afraid that it is not as good as Wan Donghai. When Wan Dongyong handed the drug to Wan Donghai, his face twitched. This Dan medicinal in a dog leg like Luan is really a violent thing. Wan Donghai took the medicinal herbs and watched Yi Yuan snoring. Today, no matter what the outcome, he is already planted in the hands of this younger generation. Yi Yuan is the old asterisk who is watching the Wandonghai spelling in the ground, and he does not care about himself. When Wandonghai had a large sleeve, Luan could not help but sit up. Then, Wandonghai's fingers went to Luan at a very fast speed. Everyone saw only a group of fingers and then heard a series of squeaky voices. Every bit of Wandonghai's point, Luan's sulking is very painful. At the last instruction, Luan opened his mouth in pain. Wandonghai did not hesitate and quickly threw the detoxification dan into his mouth. After swallowing the medicinal herbs, Wandonghai also stopped giving, and Luan, who lost support, fell soft again. Hey, oh, hey. At this time, the applause sounded without urgency. Yi Yuan smiled and sighed. The long-awaited master of a set of mysterious metaphors is a mysterious anomaly. There is a power to bring back life, and there is also a power to make people feel better. Today, it is really different. It really makes Xiaoyan open his eyes. Wandonghai breathed a little. Obviously it was not so easy for him. I heard Yi Hao's sigh of praise and suddenly had the urge to kill. Hey, what kind of poison he is, can return to the original under the detoxification of Zonming and my refining. It's not Wandong's arrogance. In Qin, he really didn't touch anything that couldn't be solved. This is best, but you see this friend made this, I hope he can be safe. Yi Yuan sighed. Yi Yuan's words sound very sincere, as if Luan was his old friend for many years. However, listening to Wandonghai but there is a faint hunch. As if to confirm his thoughts, after a few words, Luan suddenly, wow, and spit out a blood. Wandonghai's face changed and he helped Lu Andao. Are you okay? Floor, landlord, pain, killed me. After that, Luan originally mildly relieved the symptoms again, and he got to the ground from the bed. Obviously, Wandonghai's application did not solve the poison on his body, but it stimulated the toxins in his body and made him more painful. How could this be? Wandonghai is also blinded by the whole person. It seems that there is nothing remarkable about it. It is already his limit. Unexpectedly, it did not solve the poison of Luan, but it seems to be aggravated. Luan rolled on the ground, and he didn't want to give birth. No one went up to help him. Hey, Wanlu, it seems that your mysterious metaphor and detoxification did not work, but it has aggravated the friend's injury. You look at his painful look. I really don't want to go. The Wanlu master can't ease him. Pain. Drunken Star House is known as the first city of the Imperial City. Yi Yuan pretend to be confused. Wandonghai couldn't do anything at this time, pointing at Yi Yuan and yelling, "Bad boy, what did you eat for him? I want to frame our Drunk Star building, you are not qualified enough." Yi Yuan's pretense was surprised. What is the saying of the Wanlu Lord? As the saying goes, saving a person's life and winning a 7-level floating squad. Do you mean that I met this friend so painful but not ignoring it? The building is just a vain name, and even the poison in this friend can't be diagnosed. If it wasn't for the last trace of reason, Wandonghai had already gone. Yi Yuan made a painful heart and leaned over to Lu Andao. This Shangtai, I have tried my best. In the Imperial City, if even Wanlu can't save you, I really can't do anything. In the future, you will be able to under the knowledge, can't blame me on my head. Luan had already died half alive. When he heard Yi Yuan's words, it seemed to return to the light. The original eyes were also a glimmer of light. Floor, Loudland, save me, I sold it for you, sell it. Lu Anqiang endured the pain and pulled out a few words from his teeth. At this time, Luan was only insinuated by Yi Yuan, and this half-sentence was like a blue sky in Wandonghai. Wandonghai was originally full of anger at Yi Yuan. At this time, it seemed to be watered from the head by cold water, from head to foot. Without waiting for Luan to finish, Wandonghai quickly leaned down and said to Luan, "You can rest assured that I will save you back anyway." Wandonghai's eyes are very sincere at this time, and Yi Yuan is completely different from the hypocritical sincerity. The feeling for Luan is like a life and death. At this moment, Luan's uneasiness, which was originally provoked by Yi Yuan, was suppressed and replaced with a kind of serenity. Floor, landlord, he said this poison, called the heart of the heart. After that, Luan once again like a deflated ball, no movement. Instinct, instinct, Wan Donghai chewed the name, and his brow wrinkled more and more tightly. He recited the name several times, and the more he thought about it, the more he felt that the name was heard. Instinct is fierce. Instinct is fierce. It turns out to be a strong heart. How can this kid be intimidated? Wan Donghai flashed a trace of shock. Wan Donghai finally remembered where he had heard of this name. It was when he was studying in his early years, and his master once mentioned this name. At this time, the master said that the drug was overbearing at the time and there was no cure at all. Instinct is not a high-ranking medicinal herb. On the contrary, it is only a first-class medicinal herb. However, the teacher who was a fourth-order Dan King-level alchemy teacher said that there is no medicine to understand, so how terrible this poison is. How could Yi Yuan refine such a terrible poison? Is it Yi Hang's handwriting? Wan Donghai can't think so much now. He only stunned for a little while in his heart. He knew that no matter how he did it today, he couldn't save Luan. In this case, you can only sacrifice Luan. His own reputation is important, but the exposure of the undercover monster hunter is obviously a greater blow to the Drunk Star building. Lu Nan's half-sentence has already become obvious. If Wan Donghai can't save him, he will definitely expose the old bottom of the Drunk Star building in front of so many people. The consequences will be unimaginable. Both harm and access it light. Wan Donghai took a deep breath and sighed. This poison is indeed overbearing. Wan is not talented, and only the last move. After that, he ordered Luan to lift up a large sleeve, and Zonming refers to the re-expansion. Only this time, Zonming refers to the momentum as much larger than just now. His whole person, like the phantom, swept around Luan, bringing a gust of wind, and everyone was a little blind. Yi Yuan looked at the performance of Wan Donghai, and there was a sneer in the corner of his mouth. Although this Zonming refers to martial arts, it is also the martial arts in the Dan Dao category. In Yi Yuan's view, it does not flow at all, but he knows a little about this fingering. This means that the law can save lives, but it can also hurt people's lives, and it is most poisonous when hurting people. This refers to the acupuncture points on the human body to stimulate the human body. At this moment, Wan Donghai's display is the **** of hurting people. However, Yi Yuan did not reveal the idea of Wan Donghai. Since he is willing to advertise himself, Yi Yuan is naturally happy to push the boat. Moreover, with Yi Yuan's current strength, he simply can't pull Wan Donghai, he is too weak. Sure enough, with Wan Donghai's **** stopped, Luan had no breath and slowly fell to the ground. The 10,000-story master is really powerful. A set of fingerings is displayed, and he is directly killed by a doctor. Admire and admire, Yi Yuan said with a smile. Chapter 12 Juyin Lian Shenmai. Yefu, a remote room with a misty scent and a fragrant smell. Young master, you are so powerful in the Drunk Star building today. The 10,000-story master even had no way for him to take him, but he lost it to the young master. Green said while shaking the fan in his hand. The green fan's fan is burning, and there is a huge wooden barrel on the insulation. It is a medicinal bath for Yi Yuan. Today in the Drunk Star building, Wan Donghai died of Luan, making everyone stunned. The Drunk Star building of Shengji was the first from the Qin dynasty, but now it was hit by a yellow-mouthed child, and it was also slamming. Wan Donghai's old face is thicker and some can't support it. After Lu An's death, Wan Donghai immediately decided to close the day and drove everyone away to avoid the embarrassment. All of them were knowledgeable. Although they did not know what the poison was, they all guessed that this was Yi Yuan's drumming. Everyone feels that the world is changing too fast. It was originally a muddy, and it forced a generation of masters to be overwhelmed. Many people know that Yi Yuan was poisoned and killed yesterday. Can this poison make his head open? Of course, some people do not believe that this is Yi Yuan's work, but Yi Hang's fake Yi Yuan's hand slammed the Drunk Star building. However, they thought about it and felt that something was wrong. If Yi Hang had this ability, what did he do before? The two fights are not a year or two. Anyway, the discussion did not discuss a result, but this topic has become the talk of the Imperial City people after a meal, and Yi Yuan, who was originally famous, is now more famous. Oh, just to get some interest back first, although today's thing is very big to the drunk star floor, but it is not fatal. Wanjia that father and son, I will let them pay a real price sooner or later. Mention Wan Donghai and his son, Yi Yuan's tone has become a bit cold. Qingyunzi inherits this body and naturally has the obligation to avenge his predecessor and remove this competitor for Yi family. Moreover, Yi Yuan also saw the insidious and unscrupulous means of Wan Donghai's father and son, and they even succumbed to them. It's just that Yi Yuan's strength is too weak now. Besides disgusting Wan Donghai, he can't really take him. When there is enough strength in the future, Wan Donghai and his father will naturally remove it. If someone else is going to do this, it is almost impossible to accomplish the task, but for Yi Yuan, the father and son are only a stumbling block to his path of revenge. It is only a matter of time to move away. Yeah, that Wan Yuan hates to die. He used to bully the young master. The young master is cheering. I have confidence in the young master. Green children always have unconditional trust in Yi Yuan. Oh, the young master will not let you down. Right, Green, I see you are very qualified, why not learn Wu? I was busy for a day today. Now I am free to live in a room with the green children. I find that there is no such thing as a green person. It is an ordinary person. Seeing the leaves far away, Green's qualifications are very good, 100 times stronger than the former waste wood. After listening to Yi Yuan's question, the green child's look was a bit stunned. The old man said that the green child is a 9-yin dynasty and cannot practice. Otherwise, the higher the realm, the earlier it will be. 9 yin and yang. Yi Yuan repeated it again, grabbing the green child's wrist and cutting the veins. The leaf was caught by Yi Yuan, and the heart of the green child jumped straight and his face turned red. In her opinion, it is a pity that we can't practice, but it is good if we are with the young master. Yi Hang had already sentenced her to death, and she did not have any hope at all. After this time, the young master has really changed a lot, matured, and became caring for people to take care of people. Yi Yuan holds the green child's wrist, and the brow is locked first, but then gradually stretches out. Well, the old man and the wife are like green children, like green daughters. If the green children can practice, they must have taught them to me. Green children are still so understanding, for fear that Yi Yuan misunderstood Yi Hang. Yi Yuan put down the green child's hand and smiled and said, "My silly green child, you want more. Father certainly won't lie to you, but he also has a horse's forehead. Green, you tell the young master, do you want to learn Wu?" Of course I think. Green did not think about it. That's good. From tomorrow, you will learn Wu with me. I will teach you a practice. With your qualifications, this little Qin country can't hold you. Yi Yuan's face encouragement. Young master, are you really talking? Greener listened to the big joy, but did not wait for Yi Yuan to answer. Her look went away. You must not comfort me, master, but Master Dan, even he said no. I hope, how can I learn Wu? Although Green wants to learn Wu, but Green does not want to die. Green wants to stay with the young master and take care of the young master. Yi Yuan was moved in the heart and reached out to raise the green child's dagger. He smiled and said, "How can the young master lie to you? You really have a special constitution, but it is not a 9 negative pulse, but an extremely rare Juinlian. Physique can not only practice, but also practice very fast. If you are known by the big gates, you must break the head and rob you." Yi Yuan's knowledge is not comparable to Yi Hang's, but he can't say that Yi Hang is wrong. In fact, the green child is indeed a 9 negative pulse, and this 9 yin like asterisk 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 is actually a kind of 9 negative pulse, and it is an extremely rare one. Yi Yuan's cognition of the 9 yin dynasty and Yi Hang are completely different. The 9 yin dynasty is not to say that it is possible to practice, but that this physique is unique. The lower bounds of practice and resources are very scarce, coupled with the lack of knowledge, so no one has embarked on the path of practice with the yin and yin. If there is no matching method of practice, the yin and yin is indeed the physique of human life. In the domain of the gods, if such a constitution appears, it will surely be squandered by the major gates. Coincidentally, Yi Yuan's memory has a method of practicing green children's cultivation, and it is the practice of the gods of the gods. And this spirit snow god, is the physique of Juin and the gods. This time, the green child is a big glasses, cannot be channeled. Young master, what you said is true. You did not lie to me. Of course not. Juin, even the gods are indeed very difficult to practice, but if there is a matching method, the speed of practice can be far better than ordinary people. I will pass you a set of fantasy ice, with the snow and ice of the green children. Smart, the future is definitely better than the young master. Yi Yuan softly. Green children listen to a playful smile. Hey, green children don't ask for more than a young master, as long as the green child can stay with the young master. Before, the young master was always bullied, so the green child wants to learn to protect the young master, but is afraid to learn Wu will have a life, so I have never learned. Hearing that the green children learned Wu was for himself, Yi Yuan really didn't know what to say. Yi Yuan told himself that he must be strong as soon as possible. In the last life, he couldn't protect the closest people. In this life, he can no longer hurt the close people. My good green child, well, the water is almost gone, you go out, the young master, I have to take a bath. Yi Yuan Dao. Green child looked puzzled. The young master is taking a bath, and the green child is still here to help add fire. In the past, it was all green children who served the young master to bathe. How can you be shy today? Yi Yuan was sweating in his heart. He was really not used to let a young girl serve her bath. However, he also knows that if there are flaws in these details, Greener may doubt himself. That, well, Yi Yuan said helplessly. Green children heard great joy, and went to the front to help Yi Yuankui undress. Chapter 13 Father and Son Talk. Entering the medicated bath, Yi Yuan picked up some embarrassing feelings, and the running force began to absorb the potency of the water and remove the toxins left in the body. The medicinal materials used to soak the medicated bath are very common first and second order medicinal materials, and there is nothing unusual, but Yi Yuan can turn the rot into magic, and release the medicinal power of these medicinal materials to the maximum extent. In fact, in the eyes of many people, the higher the value of the medicinal materials, the more valuable they can play. In fact, this view has always been worthless in Yi Yuan's eyes. Whether it is practice or Dan Dao, basic skills are the most important. The more solid the basic work, the higher the height of the future, and the opposite is limited. In the boyhood, Qingyunzi used to spend 10 years studying the medicinal herbs and medicinal materials below the third order. The basic skills in the medicinal herbs are terrible, and he has not been in vain for more than a decade. He can become the youngest dandy, and this hard work has been indispensable for more than 10 years. In the realm of the gods, almost no one can stand up to the understanding of medicinal properties, which is why he can be praised as the youngest generation of the most hopeful achievement of Dan. In fact, even if Yi Yuan had the heart to use some high-level materials, he was also powerless at this time. There is no reason for him, his strength is too weak now. If this is not the case, Yi Yuan will not take a first-order medicinal medicine to the Drunk Star building to kick the pavilion, which is the limit for him to refine the remedy. Although he estimates that Wan Donghai is unlikely to get rid of the poison of the heart, but after all, take some risks. If Wan Donghai really has a way to detoxify, he can lift his own rock and lick his own feet. In fact, Wan Donghai really heard of the instinct, but this kind of medicinal medicine is too far away, he just heard of it, otherwise the results are really hard to say. Strength. After absorbing the potency in the barrel, Yi Yuan sighed deeply. He now urgently needs to improve his strength. Without strength, he is empty talk about revenge. He can't even protect his loved ones. In the current situation of Yi Yuan, let alone Wan Donghai, that is, Wan Yuan is coming, and he is not an opponent. Yi Yuan believes that after today's events, Wan Donghai will definitely regard himself as a stab in the eyes and want to get rid of it. Moreover, with Wan Donghai as a person, he must not be willing to be suppressed by the medicine, and he will definitely try his best to counterattack. At that time, if there is not enough strength, today's move will bring more pressure to the father. Young master, the Lord has been waiting outside for a long time. Yi Yuan was thinking about it. Green child came in and said, "Why didn't you say that when your father came? It was just a medicated bath, and it was not a closed life." If Yi Yuan guessed well, his father came to remind him to pay attention to Wan Donghai's black hand. For this short protected father, Yi Yuan is very respectful. Although it has only been 2 days since the rebirth, there is no doubt that Yi Hang, Ren Hongling and Luer have become Yi Hao's embarrassment. Green children screamed and sweared. The people are coming in to call the young master, but the Lord is pulling me hard to let me in. What can I do? Yi Yuan Khan quickly said. Good green children, is the young master is wrong. The young master apologizes to you, don't be angry, okay. Green children heard the words and laughed. Green children are not angry. Green children know that the young master is distressed and respectful. I respect him as much as you, just like when he is my biological father, how can he be angry? Yi Yuan sighed with a sigh of relief. Oh, that's good. Go out and talk to your father, let him wait a moment, I will change clothes and come out. Green children should have gone out. In Yi Hang's study, the father and son talked with each other. Right, you are very relieved today. Wan Donghai, the old child, is now estimated to be upright. Ha ha ha, for so many years, I was the first time I saw the old child eating such a big cockroach, it's really good. Yi Hang laughed. Yi Hang smiled very happily. Apparently Wan Donghai had been a little embarrassed to bully him over the years. Although Yi Hang can also support it, it has never been so deflated as it is today. Although it is not that he personally went to the door to face, but what is the difference between his son playing and playing with him? Seeing that his father smiled so happy, Yi Yuan also felt very happy. Father, can let the old child of Wan Donghai eat, or thanks to the things that master gave him in his dreams, and the child did not dare to contribute. Yi Hang waved. You don't have to be so arrogant when you are with you. I am very pleased that you can have today's skills. I just want to remind you that Wan Donghai is the most insidious. He ate so much today. A loss, certainly cannot swallow this tone, may lead to any yin tricks. You can still protect you at home, but the hand of Danwu College cannot stretch so long. Far away, or not Danwu College is not on, are you staying at home? Yi Yuan sighed in the heart, no wonder the predecessor was used to become a waste. Yi Hang, this guardian is also very protective. Yi Yuan does not want to be a canary in the cage. He has to go to Danwu College. Father, the baby of Danwu College is going to go back. Even if the child stays at home, he can never leave home. He can't hide for a while. Besides, even if the child stays at home, he will never go out. It is abolished. Even if there is master, the old man teaches his skills, but without the competition and verification of the opponent, the baby will never become a master, you say. In Yi Yuan's eyes, Wan Donghai is not even an opponent. If even the Wan Donghai border can't pass, how can he kill the gods? Going to Danwu College and playing with the geniuses of the same generation can make Yi Yuan grow up faster. Moreover, the high level does not mean that the combat power is strong. In the world of the repairers, there are too many examples of weak and strong, and the flowers in the greenhouse cannot grow up. The Qingyunzi of the past life is the flower of the greenhouse. Although the realm is also very high, the fighting power is a mess, because there are too few actual combat. In this life, he is deeply enemies of blood and sea, and naturally he has to practice his own temperament. This, far from the point of view, is to protect the father. I just want to be careful outside. If you encounter something, don't be tempted. Remember to come back and ask for help from your father. Like you poisoned this time. The dying thing, the father does not want to see the second time again. Father, rest assured that the baby will not die this time, no one can bully the baby anymore. Yi Yuan revealed strong self-confidence at this time. Yi Hang found that his son really grew up. Good, my good son. Who are the two fathers and sons afraid of? Isn't it a Wan Donghai? He is going to step on his feet for the father. Yi Hang was infected by his son, and he became self-confident. Yi Yuan's heart was laughing, his father's level was well known. He might have a day beyond Wan Donghai, but he could never step on him. Of course, that is when I have not appeared. With the current Yi Yuan, Yi Hang wants to put Wan Donghai on his feet, it is only a matter of time. Yi Yuanzheng was going to leave, and Yi Hang stopped him again. He asked curiously, "Yes, what medicine did you give to that person today, so powerful? You are just a heavy economy, how can you refine it? Producing such a high-grade medicinal herb. Yi Yuan discovered that Yi Heng is also a Dan idiot. When he encounters problems with medicinal herbs, he becomes extremely eager to learn. Obviously, this problem has plagued him for a whole day. In his view, the poisonous Dan that can make Wan Donghai helpless is definitely a third order or older drug. However, Yi Yuan Mingming is only a heavy economic situation. It is impossible to refine the second-order medicinal herbs at this level, let alone the third order or above. This is a paradox. Yi Heng can't understand if he breaks his head. At this point, he talked with his son, and he couldn't help himself anymore. For his father, Yi Yuan naturally has no concealment. He smiled and said, "Father, the name of the drug is called enthusiasm. It is not a high-ranking remedy. It is only a first-order remedy. At my current level, refining the medicinal herbs are already the limit." Yi Heng's smile suddenly stiffened on his face. A first-order remedy. How is this possible? If this is not said from the son's mouth, Yi Heng will not believe it. The first order of medicinal herbs. Yi Heng swallowed his mouth and couldn't channel. How can the first-order medicinal herbs be so powerful? Yi Yuan took out the pen and paper, and wrote the Danfang Teng in the above, and pointed out the techniques and precautions during the refining, and gave it to Yi Heng. Yi Heng took the Danfang very carefully and got the best. Yi Yuan knows that in recent days, I am afraid that I will not see my father. Chapter 14 Explosive Yuan Dan. On the next day, Yi Yuan came to Yaoshangge again. Yi Yuan clearly felt that the guys had different eyes from the past. What happened yesterday made everyone look at this super sly. This kind of eye leaf has enjoyed too much in the past, and naturally he will not care too much. He came to the medicine incense pavilion today to get the medicine. Yi Yuan is now in urgent need of upgrading his strength, and the quickest way to improve his strength is undoubtedly the drug. Without the strength of Dandy, Yi Yuanjun is not a fool. There are countless Dan Fang in Yi Yuan's mind. However, he is currently able to refine the medicinal herbs. He can only refine the first-class medicinal herbs, which is supported by his powerful soul. Otherwise, he will not be able to refine the medicine residue with his heavy-duty cultivation. Yi Yuan used a whole night to search for the first-order medicinal herbs in memory. He felt that it was a kind of first-class medicinal medicine called Explosive Dan. Explosive Yuan Dan, as the name suggests, is the remedy for the surge. The first-order medicinal herbs that can be added to the market to increase the ability to help practice are Yuan Qi Dan, which is suitable for those who are in the military. However, the general military cannot afford such drugs at all, and can only rely on their own hard work to cultivate strength to increase their strength. A Vitality Dan can save the hardships of the warriors for several months. If it is possible to practice with the spirit of the Dan, it is only a matter of time to reach the 9-dimensional atmosphere, but the person who can consume the vitality is so rare that only the royal family and some noble children can afford it. Yi Yuan certainly can afford it, but for him, the Vitality Dan is too weak, and he can't achieve the effect he wants. Although the vitality is good, but the effect is much less. The predecessor actually ate a lot of Vitality Dan, but he did not have the power to refine the Qi of Dan, so that a lot of power was lost from him. Now, Yuan Qi Dan has little effect on Yi Yuan. And this Explosion Yuan Dan is an upgraded version of Yuan Qi Dan. The efficacy is several times that of Yuan Qi Dan. Yi Yuan used it to improve the strength as most appropriate. Of course, Yi Yuan has a more powerful Dan Fang, but those prescriptions are either too high or too strong, not suitable for today's Yi Yuan. After the improvement of Yi Yuan's strength, it will be a matter of course to refine these medicinal herbs. Young master, is it still coming to take medicine today? The shopkeeper saw Yi Yuan walked in, and smiled at the initiative, and it was almost 2 people yesterday. Yi Yuan did not break, and smiled. Yes, this is the medicine I need, and each medicine is prepared in 3. Yi Yuan said that he handed the treasurer a prescription with the names of various medicinal materials. Although Explosive Dan is much more precious than Yuan Dan, the medicinal materials used are only first-order medicinal materials, which can be bought in general stores. As the largest medicinal material merchant in the imperial city, Yaoshangge is naturally in stock. The treasurer glanced at the square that Yi Yuan handed over, but his brow wrinkled. Yi Yuan was curious. How? Is there anything wrong? Young master, The herbs on this recipe, nothing else, just the clovers. The shopkeeper was in a difficult position. Yi Yuanyi is even more curious. As far as I know, although the clovers are rare, they are also common medicinal herbs. Can we not prepare for the 3 medicinal herbs? The treasurer smiled and said, "The young master, the clovers we naturally have, but we will not have too many herbs, just 3, and they all exist in the warehouse. And these 3 clovers are unfortunately yesterday. I was booked, and even the deposit was paid." Speaking of this, the treasurer secretly glanced at Yi Yuan, for fear that he would violently thunder. This little ancestor is not a fuel-efficient lamp. If he is not satisfied, he may be troubled by the dog. Although Yi Yuan's performance yesterday was very eye-catching, Zhongshan's ability to change his nature was difficult to move, and God knew if he would attack. To see Yi Yuan look as usual, the treasurer is relieved. Is this little ancestor really turning? Who is the person who ordered the medicine? It is a teenager who is usually young, and he wants to be very anxious. The shopkeeper accompanied and watched. Yi Far nodded and said, "When does he say to take medicine? I want to talk to him." When the shopkeeper was shocked, he thought that Yi Yuan had to force the family to unsubscribe. Once this kind of thing is done, the reputation of Yaoshangge is greatly disadvantageous. Yi Yuan saw his worries and added, "Don't worry, I won't mess around." The treasurer is now not sure whether this little ancestor is really turning. But seeing that Yi Yuan has no intention to go, it seems that he is eager to have these 3 kinds of clover. He said that he would come over early in the morning. He was very anxious. It is estimated that this will come. The shopkeeper had no choice but to be honest. "Well, then I am waiting for him here." After that, Yi Yuan did not care about the shopkeeper in the middle of the house, and found a place to sit down and close his eyes. The shopkeeper sighed and had to let him go. I hope that this little ancestor should not make trouble. It's not that he doesn't care about Yi Yuan. It's really too deep to leave the impression left by Yi Yuan. The effort of Zhou Mu's tea. Yi Yuan in the closed eyes suddenly heard a rush of voice. "The treasurer, I am going to take the 6-leaf clover I ordered yesterday." The shopkeeper is now in a difficult color. The person who came here was a teenager. When he was 15 or 6 years old, he saw the expression of the treasurer. He said, "The treasurer, we said it yesterday, you have even received the deposit, you can't change it. It is natural that the deposit will not change, but I want to ask this brother, what is the purpose of buying this clover?" The nature of speaking is Yi Yuan. When the teenager looked back at a young boy who was similar to his age, he could not have such a good temper. "What is your business?" The treasurer was shocked by the words, "Dare to provoke this little ancestor, this young boy is impatient, right?" He was about to speak, but was stopped by Yi Yuan with his eyes. Yi Yuan smiled and said, "Of course it is not my business, just wondering why you don't buy Dan and buy medicines. Is it because you want to refine your own medicine? I guess, I need a first-order Dan of clover refining. There are 3 kinds of medicines. One is Tian Ling Dan, the medicinal medicine used to attack the spiritual environment. You only have the 4-fold vitality. You want to come to this kind of medicinal medicine. The second type is Qingxin Dan, which is used to keep the Ling Tai clear and drive away. The magic of the heart is suitable for use in the impact of bottlenecks. You are not in the bottleneck at the moment, it should not be such a drug. There is also a kind of Da Dan, but it is a first-order healing holy medicine. Seeing you so worried, there is no relatives suffering serious injuries, need this kind of remedy to save lives." The teenager grew up and looked at Yi Yuan with some horror. He was amazed at Yi Yuan's knowledge of medicinal herbs, and even more horrified at Yi Yuan's gaze. Yi Yuan's analysis is like seeing it with his own eyes, and the facts are as expected by Yi Yuan. Chapter 15 Drug Differentiation. The young boy is Tang Yu, but he is from Danwu College like Yi Yuan. The difference is that Yi Yuan is a relationship household, and this Tang Yu is entering Danwu College with his own strength. In fact, most of the geniuses in Danwu College are from the aristocratic class, while the genius of the civilian class only occupies a small part. The aristocratic class has the resource advantage that the civilian class does not have. This is the gap that cannot be changed by any effort. The genius of the civilian class loses at the starting line. Gongfa, medicinal herbs, money, and the aristocratic class have the advantage that the civilian class can't reach for a lifetime. This is the advantage accumulated by several generations. Tang Yu's ability to enter Danwu College as a civilian has itself illustrated many problems. The four-dimensional atmosphere is not outstanding in this age, but it is by no means a mediocrity. The triple to the quadruple is a hurdle, and it can pass this hurdle without the accumulation of resources, indicating that Tang Yu is very talented in the martial arts. Tang Yu can have the strength of today and enter Danwu College. Naturally, his own efforts are indispensable, but his father's support is also indispensable. Tang Yu's father, Tang Zongwei, is a veteran monster hunter. In these years, Tang Zongwei was born into the infinite forest, all for the son to have a better future. However, when the night road is gone, there will always be ghosts. Tang Zongwei went to the boundless forest and encountered a powerful monster. He died in a lifetime, but the injury was very heavy. Tang Yu is a sensible child. His father has been injured in countless years. He also looks at his eyes. Therefore, he pursues martial arts and is determined to become a refining pharmacist in order to help his father to heal at any time. If it is not a waste of time on Dandao, Tang Yu's current achievements may go far beyond this. However, the refining pharmacist is a more money-burning profession, and Tang Yu can't afford it. Before entering Danwu College, he spent a lot of time to understand theoretical knowledge, but the practical knowledge tends to zero. After entering Danwu College, he had the opportunity to practice the refining of medicinal herbs. Even so, what he has learned is very shallow. In these years, Tang Zongwei was not rich in the savings for Tang Yu, and Tang Yu could not afford the cost of a finished drug. However, Tang Yu could not watch his father die in front of himself, only to think about the last stroke, and try to see if he can refine a big Dan. Tang Yu, who has never said anything in front of the family, has never wanted to be told by Yi Yuan. And seeing the boy in front of his age is similar to his age, the rumor on Dandao is far above himself, if he is willing to help him refine Da Dan. Thinking of this, Tang Yu put away the original indifference, and he rushed to make a glimpse of it. He said sincerely, "This brother is anxious in his heart. I have been offended in my speech. I am really sorry." Yi Yuan knew that the words had just played a role, so he smiled and waved. It is to save people, and Shangtai is not polite. Tang Yu hesitated and said, "Listen to your tone, are you interested in this clovers?" Tang Yu is a wise man. Through the words he just said, he guessed that Yi Yuan also wanted to play the idea of the clovers, and he would be rude. Yi Yuan did not hide it. He smiled and said, "Yes, these three kinds of clover have great use for me. However, I also know that Shangtai is to save people. I don't know if Shangtai can trust me. Let me see the patient. Maybe I can help you a bit. Maybe." If Yi Yuan came up to say this, Tang Yu would naturally sneer at it, but Yi Yuan's words just shocked him and let him know the gap, which made him have to reconsider. In fact, Tang Yu himself did not have much confidence in Tang Zongwei's injury. He was even less sure about refining Da Dan, so he bought all three kinds of six-leaf clover and prepared for failure. The father's injury could not be afforded. Tang Yu hesitated a little and made up his mind to arch the archway to Yi Yuan. "Then it's a trouble to be a brother. What do you know about Shangtai?" Yu surnamed leaves, single name a far word. Yi Yuan is not concealed, said directly. Yi Yuan. Tang Yu's chewed the name and felt that he was familiar and had heard it. The shopkeeper next to him heard the young master screaming at the boy, and could not help but feel better about Yi Yuan's senses. However, when Yi Yuan self-reported his home, his heart shouted loudly. The name Yi Yuan was so loud in the imperial city. Sure enough, Tang Yu thought about it for a moment, and contacted the medicine incense cabinet, and suddenly realized where he had heard the name. You are the tail of the crane at Danwu College, and the results are at the bottom of the college." Tang Yu blurted out. Yi Yuan sighed a sigh, and did not know whether his predecessor was a living failure or success, and he even made such a big reputation. "Yes, I am the Yi Yuan, but you should not rush to refuse. If I guess well, do you have no confidence in refining Da Dan?" This, Yi Yuan's words made Tang Yu's heart glimpse. "Let's do it, let me see it in the past. If you can't solve the problem, let my father personally take the shot and help you refine a big dandan. How about?" Yi Yuan took the heat to hit the railway. Yi Yuan took his father out and Tang Yu suddenly appeared. If Yi Heng can really take the shot himself, his father's injury will certainly be controlled. Is this true? Nature is true. If you don't believe it, let's make a note. Tang Yu felt that this was not so good, and he did not trust others too much, but his father was in danger, he really couldn't care so much. And Yi Yuan's reputation is there, he really can't take the risk. If the father can be saved, then it is time to pay the blame to Yi Xiaoye. With the idea fixed, Tang Yu arched the archer. That troubles Yi Yi. Yi Yuan waved his hand and said faintly, "You are welcome." The treasurer, help me set a letter. The treasurer naturally did not dare to neglect, find a paper and pen to set up a good document. Yi Yuan signed his name on it. Tang Yu then let go of his heart. Looking at the back of the two people, the feeling of the treasurer is not too real. In the past Yi Yuan, he was the most clear, but he would never speak so well. Is it a big disaster? He really matured. The imperial city has a lot of money, even if the hunter is much higher than the average person. Tang Zongwei can't afford a big house, not to mention that he still has to train his son. This is a very civilian house, and the room looks a little dark. Yi Yuanyi entered the door, and a scent of medicine came to the surface. Shenshenlian, red pine nuts, broccoli, these herbs are the formula of entry-level medicinal herbs. It seems that Tang brother is still practicing the refining of the first-order medicinal herbs. Only this Big Dan is the first-order top grade. At the current level of Tang Shang, I am afraid that even if the 3 6-leaf clover are all abolished, can they not be refining? Yi Yuan's words are not polite, and they have exposed the level of Tang Yu. How high is Yi Yuan's level? Tang Yu simply can't imagine. Yi Yuan just touched his nose and touched Tang Yu's level. Although the two are of similar age, in front of Yi Yuan, Tang Yu is like a toddler. Yi Yuan also intentionally exposed some strength, so Tang Yu could not despise him. No way, whoever made his predecessor too good, he had to advertise a little. As far as Yi Yuan said, Tang Yu was not only annoyed, but a shock in his heart. At this time, he just entered his house. The medicine was placed deep inside the house. Yi Yuan could not see it at all. He could tell the medicinal materials only by the nose, and it was not bad. How high is this level? I am afraid that the teaching of the college does not have such a skill. Chapter 16 Speech. I can't think of Yi Shang's family history, and the accomplishments in Dan Dao can reach such a degree. Tang Yu believes in rumors that he has slowed down Yi Shang, and it is really shameful. Only this hand. Tang Yu also knows that Yi Yuan is definitely not worthy of the name, so he quickly apologizes. Yi Yuan's heart confessed that this Tang Yu was born in poverty, but he was a bright and upright man, but it was worth paying. On the way, Tang Yu also self-reported the door. Yi Yuankai knows that this Tang Yu is actually a student of Danwu College, no wonder that he is the tail of the crane. Yi Yuan smiled and said, "Tang brothers don't have to be like this. My previous reputation is really bad. I can't blame the Tang brother. This Dandao rumor is not high, but I was often forced by my father to learn to identify some herbs, but I can recognize them. Come out some." At this time, Tang Yu did not dare to take a nap, and quickly said, "Yi brother is modest, please." Tang Yu led Yi Yuan into the back room, and a coughing sound came out of the bed, which seemed to be weak. Needless to say, the one lying on the bed is Tang Yu's father Tang Zongwei. "You cough, as you cough, is it back?" Tang Zongwei's situation did not seem to be very good. He coughed as he spoke and struggled to sit up. Tang Yu saw this scene and quickly went up to support Tang Zongwei. "Father, I said that you should not move." "Oh, cough, father, this time, I'm afraid, I'm coughing, I'm not going to die. After that, you have to cough, take care of yourself." Tang Zongwei has already saved his death. Tang Yu's tears came out and he whimpered, "Father, don't talk, baby, the baby will heal you. The baby has brought the clover back, and this gives you a great refining." Dan goes. Tang Yu was about to get up, but he was caught by Tang Zongwei. No need, cough, no use." It is not that Tang Zongwei said that Dan was useless, but that he knew that his son could not refine Dan. It is better to leave the medicine to the son. "Cough, it turned out, Cough, I have a guest, how come, don't you come in? Tang Zongwei discovered that there was still a person standing at the door. Referring to Yi Yuan, Tang Yu's spirit was invigorated, and Yi Yuandao said, Yi brother, beg you to save my father. As long as he can heal him, I will do it for you in my life. It can be seen that although Tang Yu's origin is not good, he is very proud. I can say these words, and the feelings of their father and son are really deep. By himself, the softest heartstring in Yi Yuan's heart is also touched. You and my brother are counted, what do you want to do as a cow? Let the uncle lay down, let me diagnose. Yi Yuan did not care. Sitting directly at the bed, Tang Yu gave him a position. Yi Yuanzheng wants to grasp the wrist of Tang Zongwei. Who knows that he has drawn it out? No need, this little brother, thank you. Father. Tang Yu saw his father, and suddenly he was in a hurry. Yi Yuan knew that Tang Zongwei was trying not to trouble his son, and he was desperate to find death. Of course, there are still some reasons why Yi Yuan is too young. He does not believe what Yi Yuan can do. Yi Yuan is not annoyed. He stopped Tang Yu with a gesture. He said, Uncle, if I didn't guess wrong, are you hurt by the giant wind? Tang Yu was so excited that he suddenly became excited. Yi is really a good eye, and he guessed it at a glance. Tang Zongwei was unmoved, coughing a few times, and intermittently said, Yes, you are told, you. Don't bother. Father, I really didn't tell Yi Shang, it was his own. Seeing his father's heart and death, Tang Yu was in a hurry. Seeing this situation, Yi Yuan's brow wrinkled. The doctor first cares for the heart, and Tang Zongwei does not want to live. Even if he is given a panacea, he may not be able to save him. With Yi Yuan's eyesight, he can see that Tang Zong's wounds are indeed very heavy. I am afraid that it will not survive tomorrow. If you delay this, it is that he will return to Dandy and will not save Tang Zongwei. Even now, it's not a big Dandan who can save it. Yi Yuan decided to take the fierce drug, but, Tang Shang, these ruthless people, save him. Since he is going to die, let him die. Tang Yu is not clear, so see Yi Yuan so degraded his father, suddenly angered. Yi Yuan, what do you say? My father hurts this for me, how do you say that he is ruthless and unrighteous? Oh, these naive, spurs the law, useless. Tang Yu can't hear it. Tang Zongwei is the old river, how can he not hear it? Yi Yuan naturally didn't want to be so simple to succeed. He sneered. Is it true? You should be a radical law. When Tang Brothers dies on the streets, he will go to the local government to ask you for sin. Then I will see how you respond. Tang Zongwei's unsettled mood finally rose a bit, and he turned and asked, How do you say this? Don't you say that I am a radical law. I ask so much. What I did is to see that I have promised to save you in the filial piety of Tang brother. I can't think of his filial person being so unbearable, not saving, and saying goodbye. After that, Yi Yuan really turned and wanted to go. Slow. Tang Zongwei and Tang Yu are the same voice. What is the uncle? Yi Yuan ignored Tang Yu, indifferent. I want to know, little brother, just said, what the hell? Yi Yuan said that Tang Yu's death on the street really stimulated him. You, a person who will die, know so much. What is the life and death of his son? He only cares about his own death. You are not ruthless, and what is it? Yi Yuan sneered. Only, as long as, the little brother said clearly, I am willing to heal. It seems that there is a lot more to say, and Tang Zongwei's cough is even worse. Yi Yuan is still a face of contempt. Sneer, do you think that Tang Yu entered the Danwu Academy, will there be a future? Difficult, isn't it? Tang Zong doubted. Of course not. Danwu College is not only a holy place in your imagination, but an extremely cruel place. Of course, I believe that Tang brother must have not mentioned these things to you, is it not? Yi Yuan said, but it is to Tang Yu. Tang Yu was exposed, but he still nodded, which is the default. Tang Zongwei is most familiar with his son. The natural way is not to lie to himself, but to keep his heart tight. Yi Yuan continued. Danwu College is indeed a place where genius gathers, but it is also the most competitive place, even cruel than the outside. The birth of a genius often has to step on the bones of other geniuses. Not bad, but it is not a top, not to mention that he is only a civilian. Without the support of resources, he is destined to be a stepping stone for others. One day he will be eliminated. Even if he survives, it is only by becoming a monster hunter to live. Such a person is not a minority at Danwu College. Do you think that a few people of the Wicked Hunter can spend their lives safely and securely? Tang Zongwei himself is a monster hunter, naturally knowing the situation of the hunter. Thinking of his son may follow his own footsteps in the future, Tang Zongwei feels that death is also unsettled. Small, little brother, just, cough, I am wrong, trouble, you cure my injury, I am willing to pay any price. Tang Zongwei originally did not want to trouble his son. It is now found that his son may have more trouble after he dies, which makes him unable to die anyway. Chapter 17 Trust and Choice. Yi brother, how is my father's injury? Tang Yu asked awkwardly. Tang Yu is a half-hanger, and he has little confidence in his diagnosis. The level of Dan Dao displayed by Yi Yuan is far above him, which also makes him pin his hopes on Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan frowned, and Tang Yu's heart sank. The wind and the rhinoceros are very big and the speed is very fast. It is a blessing for the uncle to escape from his hands. The uncle's injury is very serious, the lungs are broken, the heart has also broken, and there is a danger at any time. The expression on Yi Yuan's face is also very dignified. As Yi Yuan's words were spoken, Tang Yu's mood gradually sank to the bottom of the valley, but Tang Zongwei's face had a calm of life and death. Of course he knows how many injuries he suffered, so he just decided to do so. At this time, I heard Yi Yuan's diagnosis, but only confirmed his guess. Yi brother, can you say? Tang Yu did not dare to say the words behind him. Only these words, Yi Yuan can feel his inner despair. However, Yi Yuan did not answer Tang Yu's question, but frowned, as if he was thinking about the problem. For a time, the room was strange and quiet. Tang Yu couldn't stand the torment at this time. He took the courage to Yi Yuan Dao. Yi brother, I know that I am taking a pretense, can I ask, to make a shot? Yi Yuan looked up at Tang Yu and looked calm, but still did not speak. Tang Yu was somewhat unnatural by Yi Yuan and said, I'm sorry, Yi Shang, I didn't look down on what you mean, just. I know what you mean, whether you believe it or not, my father is useless. It is not only my father, but Wan Donghai, or Wu Daofeng. Yi Yuan said very firmly. Wu Daofeng in Yi Yuanko is the president of the Qin Dynasty Refining Pharmacists Association. In the whole Qin Dynasty, the highest level of Dan Dao is not Wan Donghai, nor Yi Hang, nor the emperor of the royal family, but the president. Yi Yuan said that even he could not do it, basically equaling the death sentence of Tang Zongwei. It's just that this is heard in Tang Yu's ear, but it is a bit of a sophistry. Yi Yuan really showed his hands, but did you think that this would surpass the first person in Qingguodan Road? Yi Yuan pushed 3 resistances and 4, and finally made Tang Yu's heart a little dissatisfied. If it is something else, he naturally does not account for anything, but now Yi Yuan has sentenced his father's death sentence in front of him, which makes him unable to have no idea. Who is Yi Yuan? A dude. Yi brother, you, let Yi Gongzi finish the words. Tang Yu said half of the words, but was interrupted by Tang Zongwei. Tang Yu was a bit stunned, but Yi Yuan nodded. I said that they can't do it. It doesn't mean that the uncle's injury is completely hopeless. Tang Yu heard great joy, but he couldn't care about the strange leaves and talked and gasped. He said, what hope is Yi brother said? The hope I said is actually in the brother of Tang. Tang Yu was smeared by Yi Yuan, and in fact Yi Yuan did not know how to open the mouth, so he only wandered around such a big bend. Yi Far nodded and said, Tang Shang also knows that my previous reputation is not very good. I don't know if Tang Shang believes that I can't believe me. Tang Yu also had some recollections at this time. He was a smart person. There was something in Yi Yuan's words. If he couldn't hear it, it would be a fool. Yi brother means 6-leaf clover. Tang Yu hesitated. Not bad. Yi Yuan did not deny, directly admitted. In fact, the lower medicinal grading is different from the sacred domain. Although the first-order medicinal herbs of the sacred domain are also divided into upper, middle and lower Sera, the so-called top-grade medicinal herbs of Qin State are only the next medicinal herbs. The type and quality of the Danish gods are not comparable to a lower mortal country. According to common sense, Yi Yuan's strength is that he can't refine the first-class medicinal herbs. His Yuan Li can't support the refining of the first-class medicinal herbs. The reason why he can refine it is because he used to be dandy. The power allocated during the refining of the medicine has been reasonably meticulous to the level of horrible, and it is possible to refine the superior medicine beyond the strength with poor power. These so-called first-order medicinal herbs are nothing but inferior medicines in Yi Yuan's eyes. However, to treat Tang Zonghuai's injury, the first-order top grade is not enough, but the first-order Chinese medicine of the ***** domain is used, but Yi Yuan's current strength is too weak, and the refining cannot be done. Therefore, he is giving Tang Yu a choice. If Tang Yu chooses not to believe in himself, then his fate with Tang Yu will stop here. Tang Zonghuai's injury is also powerless. How is this going? In case, Tang Yu has become a bit confused. In the subconscious, Tang Yu felt that Yi Yuan was actually credible. However, under such a cruel reality, Tang Yu really did not know how to make a decision. What he meant was that if Yi Yuan really couldn't save his father, Dandan was his last hope. Yi brother, I don't believe you, Tang Yu didn't know how to word it. You, give it to him. At this moment, Tang Zonghuai, who had been silent, was weak. Tang Yu turned his head and looked at his father and read a lot of information from the other's eyes. In the end, Tang Yu clenched his teeth and handed the box with the clover to Yi Yuandao. Yi brother, please. Yi Yuan did not quit, calmly took the box and said, give me a day, tomorrow I will come over on time. However, my uncle's injury is very unstable now, it is difficult to stick to tomorrow without handling it. I will give him a set of needles first, and the stability of his injury will no longer deteriorate. Tang Yuchong Yi Yuan made a glimpse, the trouble is Yi brother. Yi Yuan naturally did not carry the golden needle with him. At this time, he returned to the medicine incense to take the needle. After Yi Yuan left, Tang Yu said to his father with some uneasiness, Father, the baby knows that Yi Shang is a person with real talents, but his reputation in the past is really bad. I always feel that this time is gambling. After a violent cough, Tang Zonghuai sneered and laughed, for the father's injury, can you not know? Yi Gongzi, he said, yes, that is, Wu Daofeng is coming, it is useless. Even, gambling, nothing, can't afford it. Father, is it so serious? Tang Yu apparently did not expect his father's injury to have deteriorated to such a point. Tang Zonghuai just shook his head and said, this son, is not in the pool, no matter what the outcome, it will be, later with him, close and close. Tang Yu did not expect his father's evaluation of Yi Yuan to be so high, but his prejudice against Yi Yuan, since entering this room, has already been thrown into the clouds. The moment nodded should be, Father, rest assured that the child is not ungrateful. As long as Yi brother is trying his best to heal his father, my life is sold to him. Chapter 18 Improves Strength. Looking at Yi Yuanxing's flowing water, Tang Yu has a little more confidence. At this time, he found that Yi Yuan was not as famous as the rumors. Father, how? I feel better. After the application, Tang Yu asked impatiently. At this point, Tang Zonghuai's face seemed to be much more rosy, and the cough was not as dramatic as it was just now. Yi Gongzi really has a good hand, and now I feel that the whole person is a lot easier. He was still a little out of breath, but it was much better than it was. Yi Yuan's acupuncture method is naturally not a product, but a set of top-level needles he created, called the 72 Roads and Big Cycles. This set of needles was once a sensation in the realm of the gods, and it was unpredictable. Of course, with his current realm, he can't play the power of this set of needles, that is, control Tang Zonghuai's condition. This method can only cure the symptoms, but it can't cure the problem. I will send the medicinal herbs tomorrow. If it is not too late, I will go back first. After that, Yi Yuan left without a word. Yi Yuan went to the medicine incense and took the medicinal materials of the refining blasting Yuandan. Together with the 3 clovers, they went straight into the alchemy room. Explosive Yuandan is only the first-order medicinal medicine of the **** domain. Yi Yuan is now refining. He also has a better first-order medicinal remedy, but he can't refine it at present. When his strength is improved, he can naturally refine higher-grade medicinal herbs. For Yi Yuan, the method of refining the explosion of Yuan Yuandan is very simple. After 3 hours, Yi Yuan came out of the alchemy room with a few bottles. Then naturally it was a retreat. He found a quiet room and told the next person not to disturb, and began to retreat. Looking at the row of pills in front of me, Yi Yuan's brow was slightly wrinkled. He was very dissatisfied with this alchemy. He actually only produced 26 explosions of Yuan Yuandan in 3 materials. Among these medicinal herbs, there are 15 medium explosive Yuandan, 8 top-grade blasting Yuandan and 3 best-selling Yuandan. Dan medicine is divided into substandard products, lower products, middle products, top grades, best products and super products. If it was before, Yi Yuan refining these low-grade medicinal herbs, the worst is the best, but now only a bunch of garbage can be refined. Naturally, he is not used to it. Of course, if Yi Yuan's idea is known to several Dan divisions in Qin, he will definitely find a place to sneak in. If they came to refine the Yuan Dan, it would be grateful to have a rare medicinal herb. Yi Yuan's one-time refining of 3 is not enough. For them, the best medicines are things that can be met and not demanded. Only when they are lucky can they be refined. Yi Yuan sighed and knew that this was no way. His body has not yet refining the medicinal herbs, and there are still some deficiencies in the tactics. The most important thing is that the strength is too weak, and the 1-point force is to be used in 3 parts. Naturally, there is no top-level remedy. Yi Yuan picked up the medicine bottle containing the best explosive Yuan Dan, took out one and swallowed it directly. As soon as the medicinal herbs entered the abdomen, they suddenly turned into a rolling force, and the shackles of the scorpion continued to wash the meridians of Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan did not dare to neglect, immediately ran the Lingyang Juyang God, guiding those chaotic forces to swim in the meridians. Under the guidance of the Lingyang Juyang God, the original violent Yuan Li immediately became very clever. These forces were run in Yi Yuan for a large Sunday and eventually merged into Dantian. After the quenching of the Lingyang Juyang God, the original force of some miscellaneous has become very pure. The Lingyang Juyang God is divided into 3 chapters, and Yi Yuan is now practicing the introduction of the article. The human article is also divided into 3 stages, each of which has a supporting martial arts, which is also the power of the Lingyang Juyang God. The martial arts specially promoted by the Lingyang Juyang God is powerful and unmatched. The reason why the **** of the spirits is invincible in the gods is because he has become the ultimate martial art of the spirit of the 9 gods. This martial art is unfolding, and it is very scary to burn all the things within a few thousand miles into nothingness. In the first stage of the human article, the supporting martial art's name is the absolute Yang Finger, which can urge the Yuanli to send out from the fingertips and train to Dacheng to break the stone and break the iron. The lethality is very huge. After 2 hours, the blasting power of the blasting dragon was absorbed by Yi Yuan under the quenching of the Lingyang Juyang Shenk. Yi Yuan felt the power of the body, and he was able to enter the double-weight situation. Without hesitation, Yi Yuan threw the second best blasting Yuan Dan into his mouth and continued to quench his strength. After 2 hours, Yi Yuan swallowed the third one. The best blasting Yuan Dan finished. Yi Yuan continued to swallow the top blasting Yuan Dan, but the effect is much worse than the best blasting Yuan Dan, and the more you eat with the blast, the more effective the effect is for Yi Yuan. Continue to weaken. The sky will be clear. Yi Yuan feels the meridians of the whole body and Dan Tian slightly pains. He knows that the absorption of the force has reached the limit. If you absorb it this way, he will explode and die. Once again, I felt the power of the body, and I have already reached the peak of the 3-dimensional atmosphere. Only a trace of it has entered the 4-dimensional atmosphere. At this time, Yi Yuan consumed 3 of the best explosive Yuan Dan and 6 top-grade explosive Yuan Dan, which is not extravagant. The 3-dimensional atmosphere to the 4-dimensional environment is a small bottleneck. In the mortal country like Qin, many people are stuck under this bottleneck, and some people can't break through even life. However, this bottleneck does not exist for Yi Yuan. His past life has a very high realm, and the small bottleneck of the Yuan Jing is naturally unbearable. As long as Yuan Li's accumulation is sufficient, Yi Yuan can cross this threshold at any time. However, the overnight rise of two small realms, which makes Yi Yuan's foundation somewhat unstable. With Yi Yuan's vision, nature will not do anything worth the candle. Although he is eager for strength, he does not want to drink and quench his thirst, and he can go further in his down-to-earth manner. In the days to come, his main task is to digest the strength of the skyrocketing and to firmly anchor the foundation of the first phase of the environment, and he will consider entering the second stage. Of course, because Yi Yuan is practicing the Lingyang Juyang God, his strength is much more concentrated than the general vitality. If you change to someone else to take the explosion of Yuan Dan, a superb explosion Yuan Dan and 2 top grades of the explosion Yuan Dan, enough to enter the vitality triple. In other words, Yi Yuan is now 3 times thicker than the general 3-dimensional. No wonder the **** of the gods has such strength. If the Lingyang Juyang God is cultivated to a very high level, even if it uses the power consumption, it can also consume the opponent. According to this calculation, although the strength is not strong enough, but the refining of the domain of the first-class Chinese medicine, Yuan Li is enough. The time is not early. It is time to go back to the Uncle Tang to refine the ink jade back to the heart. Yi Yuan stood up, stretched his muscles and pushed the door out. Just out of the door, I saw the green child swaying in front of the elf, laughing. "Young master, are you out?" "Yeah, hey, have you been aggravated?" Yi Yuan smiled and promised, and the perception did not mean to sweep the green child, and found that the original green child was empty, and he was already alive, and he taught to the green. It's only a day's time for the children's fantasy ice. Green child nodded cleverly and said, "Young master, is it that I am too slow to cultivate?" Yi Yuan smiled and said, "You don't want to go out and say this, or you will be mad at others. Your cultivation is too fast, so that everyone can be self-defeating. Green child has just stepped into the road of cultivation, and there is no concept of cultivation speed." Listening to the young master as so praised, Green is very happy. "Really? Can I help the young master in the future?" "Oh, of course, we have the most powerful green children. Go, let the young master go to do something. Tomorrow we will return to Danwu College. I want to introduce you into the college." Yi Yuan laughed. Chapter 19 Plot. In these few days, the door of the Drunken Star can be seen, and the time has been overshadowed by the medicine. Since Yi Yuan's door-to-door kick, Wan Donghai has been retreating, and no one has come. This can make Wan Dongyang anxious. He wants to send people to kill Yi Yuan, but no big brother nods. He does not dare to make his own claim, so he will come to Wan Donghai to retreat every once in a while. I hope Wan Donghai can go out early. At this moment, Wan Dongyang was in front of the big brother, and it seemed very impatient. Obviously his patience is reaching the limit. "Big brother, you will not come out again. I will take people to abolish the kid. I can't swallow this breath." Wan Dongyang was annoyed. See, Wan Donghai still did not say that Wan Donghai was so angry that he was about to leave, and Wan Donghai's voice was introduced into his ear. "Troyo, come in." Wan Dongyang heard great news and immediately pushed in. "Hey, big brother, are you not in a retreat?" "How?" Wan Dongyang thought that his eldest brother was really seeking a breakthrough in retreat. Who knows that when he came in, Wan Donghai was teasing leisurely, very leisurely. It is totally different from Wan Dongyang's imagination. Wan Donghai did not defeat the decadent look, but the spirit was full, as if the things of the previous 2 days did not happen. Wan Donghai is still the way that Jeju is holding, and smiles. "Dongyang, I have said how many times you have been, and don't be in a hurry. This is in the Imperial City, our site, and the site of Yi Hang. You think that you can kill Yi Yuan in the past, unless Yi Hang's brain is funny. But my eldest brother, I can't swallow this breath. I was hit by a hairy boy with a creamy smell. How can we mix in the Imperial City after Drunken Star building?" Wan Dongyang Airway. Doing business always pays attention to a kind of enthusiasm, even if you want to fight in the dark. You are so bright and murderous, it is completely meaningless to let the Drunk Star building fall into a more passive situation. You will help me take care of the Drunk Star building. You don't have to worry about Yi Yuan's things. I already have arrangements. Wan Dongyang's eyes lit up and quickly asked, what arrangement? Wan Donghai smiled and said, he is just a big-haired boy. How can we kill him? I have a good body. I estimate that I will return to Danwu College in these 2 days. If he had any accidents on the way, it doesn't matter to us. What does Big Brother mean? I have already asked the killer of the murderer to go out and deal with a one-powered kid, will not miss it. Ha ha ha. Wan Dongyang burst into laughter and admire. Big Brother is really strategizing, the younger brother admire. Why did I not use this trick? The killer of the ink killer is gone. We are the people of the 9 clouds, they have the color, they have shoot, the stinky boy must be dead. Well, Murray is the best of our 10 countries, and the most trustworthy killer organization. Yuan did not poison the kid, I will send the kid on the road again. Dare to make a move on my Wandong Sea, this kid it's really awkward. Later, Wan Donghai's whole people were cold. Yeah, this kid doesn't know where the snow comes from a cold poison. Even dare to go to the door to kick the pavilion. It's just that I don't know how to live. If he has some strength, he can only be a heavy slag, kill him. It's just a matter of no effort. In the eyes of Wan Dongyang, Yi Yuan is already a dead person. Wan Donghai smiled, as if there was some lack of interest in Yi Yuan's affairs. In his eyes, Yi Yuan was not an opponent at all, and at best it was a flea. If this thing is behind Yi Hang's manipulation, then he succeeded in angering me. This time, we must completely smash the medicine-fragrant pavilion, and I want Yi Hang to be rebellious. Wan Donghai took out a medicinal herb from the sleeve and handed it to Wan Dongyang. Wan Dongyang doubted that he had taken the medicinal herbs and carefully looked at it for a while but could not see why. Not every refining pharmacist can understand the medicinal properties to the extent of Yi Yuan. Wan Dongyang can only judge that this is a medicinal herb similar to Yuan Qi Dan. Big Brother, is this? This kind of medicinal medicine is called Juyuan Dan. Like Yuan Qi Dan, it is a medicinal herb that increases Yuanli. However, the strength of Juyuandan is 50% stronger than that of Yuan Qi Dan. Once we are able to supply this medicinal herb in large quantities, what do you think? Wan Donghai said, the smugness on his face could no longer be concealed. Wan Dongyang vaguely speculated, but did not expect this Juyuandan to have such an effect. After listening to the explanation of Big Brother, Wan Dongyang suddenly got a little upset. Once such a drug is introduced to the market, it is definitely a big killer. Although Yuan Qi Dan can help to improve its strength, if it is taken from a vitality, it will have little effect when it comes to 5-fold and 6-fold vitality. However, if you change Yuan Dan to Juyuan Dan, starting from the weight of 1 weight means that the cultivation speed is 50% faster than others. For the genius children of some big families, this is simply a dream. The martial arts road races against time. As the bone age increases, the human body's potential will gradually be squeezed out, and the space for growth is very limited. So who can cultivate to a higher level when he is young, naturally means that the road of martial arts will be longer. In this way, the meaning of Juyuan Dan is extraordinary. Big Brother, what is the cost of this Juyuan Dan? Wan Dongyang is not the kind of straw bag, he is also a master, and asked the key points. Reassure, this Juyuan Dan is only a first-class remedy, the cost is only slightly higher than Yuan Dan. Great, Big Brother, with this Juyuan Dan, we will be able to completely defeat the medicine incense. The brothers looked at each other and laughed at the same time. Tang Jia, Tang Zongwei has just taken the medicinal herbs brought by Yi Yuan, and is re-establishing refining and chemical power. Yi Yuan helped Tang Zongwei to refine the medicinal herbs called Moyu Weixin Dan. This kind of medicinal medicine will not exist in Qin state naturally, but the required medicines are not difficult to find, and the reserves of Yaoshangge are very far away. The medicinal materials were quickly assembled and the refining was successful. This Moyu Weixin Dan is a special medicine for the treatment of internal injuries. The efficacy is similar to that of Da Dan Dan, but the medicine is higher than Da Dan Dan. It not only helps Tang Zongwei to protect his heart but also repairs his damaged organs. As long as Tang Zongwei refines his medicine, he can recover within 3 days. In the Tang family's outer office, Tang Yu bowed deeply toward Yi Yuan. If this is not a coincidence with Yi Shang, my father may be escaping. Please ask Yi brother to worship me. Yi Yuan held Tang Yu with his hand and smiled. Tang brother is not polite, but also the filial piety of Tang Shang moved me. When I saw your father and son, I thought about how my father was anxious a few days ago. How can I bear to see your father and son yin and yang separated? It's also said that Tang's brother saved his uncle. If you don't give me the clover, I'm helpless to my uncle's injury. Listening to Yi Yuan said that Tang Yu discovered that his power was too much, and after a day, he was already a three-dimensional situation. This, overnight, Yi brother even rose 2 levels. How is this possible? Just now Tang Yu's mind is on his father, and now found that Yi Yuan's changes, was shocked and stunned. Danwu College is a place where genius gathers. Tang Yu has asked many geniuses, but he has never heard of a genius who can rise 2 levels overnight. This is simply too ridiculous. Yi Yuan smiled and said, the opportunistic tricks only let Tang Shang laugh. For Yi Yuan, it is naturally opportunistic. Even if someone else has a blasting Yuan Dan, he would not dare to eat like him. He must die if his veins burst. However, Yi Yuan's understanding of medicinal properties has reached a height that ordinary people cannot understand. Together with the Lingyang Juyang Shenk, he dared to take such a drug. Tang Yu came back to the gods and smiled bitterly, the opportunistic tricks. Seeing laughter, Yi Shang's words really make me feel awkward. Oh, Tang brothers don't have to be like this. I have some medicinal herbs here. I can help the practitioners and give them to Tang Shang. I don't want to worry about the injury of Uncle Tang. Can Tang brother go back to Danwu College with me tomorrow? Well, wait for my father to go out. If it doesn't matter, I will go with Yi brother tomorrow. Well, I have to keep the medicinal herbs of Tang Shang safely and must not be known by others. Listening to Yi Yuan said that Tang Yu knew that this medicine was not the same, so he solemnly said, Yi Shi is assured that Tang Yu must be tight-lipped. Explosive Yuan Dan is nothing in the realm of the gods, but it is too precious to be placed in such a place as Qin, and Yi Yuanjun, who believes in his sin, cannot know. Chapter 20 Return Home. The imperial city is always where people flow, and there are always 3 to 5 groups outside the city. On the roadside, Yi Heng and his wife are sending off to Yi Yuan. Far, this road is only half a day away, but I always feel that it is not quite flat. With the character of Wan Donghai, it will never be so swallowed by such a blow. I guess he must be playing a ghost idea. Aping and a Chung follow me. For years, let them ***** you in the past. Yi Heng bitterly advised. Like Wan Donghai's understanding of Yi Heng, Yi Heng's understanding of Wan Donghai is also very deep. So on this road he was persuading Yi Yuan to bring 2 guards, but he was rejected by Yi Yuan. Father, but half a day's journey, nothing. And there are brothers and brothers on the same road. Wan Donghai is bold and big, and dare not send people to kill me brazenly. Yi Yuan still smiled and refused. Oh, far away, you will listen to your father. Wan Donghai's heart is very hot, and the gun is easy to hide. Ren Hongdeling also advised. The couple had just lost their son and they didn't want to have any more accidents. However, Yi Yuan just shook his head with a smile and the appearance of rejection was already obvious. Oh, your child is really stubborn. Yi Heng knows that his son is not what he used to be. Maybe he really has a life-saving trick. Yesterday, my son appeared in front of himself, and it was already a triple-powered one, which really shocked him. Although I know that Yi Yuan has met the master, this progress is too horrible. However, thinking about the unpredictable means of the superior, Yi Heng is relieved. He knows that there are too many things outside of his understanding in the world. Forget it. Since he refused, let him go. The son grew up, and some things always have to face. Yi Heng sighed. Yi Yuan bowed to his parents and took Tang Yu and green children on the road. Yi Yuan naturally knows that this road is not peaceful, but there are things he wants to face, and he wants to use it to sharpen himself. Yi Yuan has deep unfathomable knowledge of Dan Dao, beyond the horizon of this world, and countless exercises in martial arts, but these things do not represent strength, otherwise Yi Yuan can now directly return to the domain. What Yi Yuan has to do is to transform these things into real strength. In the past, Yi Yuantai focused on Dan Dao, so that the martial arts were abandoned. The high level is high, but the fighting power is a mess. How to transform the knowledge brought by previous life into combat effectiveness. Yi Yuan knows, then go to fight, fight, fight again. Only by fighting constantly can you improve your combat effectiveness and kill the gods. There is no actual combat, even if Yi Yuan's knowledge is profound, it's just a mirror in the moon. Therefore, Yi Yuan does not want to grow under the care of Yi Hang. Therefore, he chose to return to Danwu College to compete with a group of talents. As Yi Yuan and Tang Zongwei said, Danwu College is not a paradise. On the contrary, the competition there is quite cruel. This time back to college, Yi Yuan faced the challenge for the first time. Danwu College is not in the Imperial City, but in the north of the Imperial City. It is close to the Infinite Forest, and it is a great place to exercise geniuses. Yi Yuan did not rush back to the college, but swayed on the horse. Right, I haven't congratulated the Tang brother for being a 5-powered person. Tang Yu was at the top of the 4 peaks, and now he has the blast of Yuan. If it is impossible to advance into the 5-fold, it is better to find a stone and die. Where? This is all thanks to Yi Shang's explosion Yuan Dan. The explosion of Yuan Dan is really magical, and the Yuan Li contained in it is actually several times stronger than Yuan Dan. I only swallowed one and easily advanced. Up to now, Tang Yu has some recollections of the violent power, and it is too simple to think about the promotion. Also, because he himself ate the expanse of Yuan, he knew why Yi Yuan could rise 2 levels overnight. What he didn't know was that Yi Yuan had already taken the best quality blasting Yuan Dan, and the number he took was several times that of him. Those medicinal herbs were enough for him to cultivate to 6 vitality. The various levels of the meta validity are not as simple as 1 + 1 and 2 equals. The higher the number of elements required for higher order, the more it is multiplied. The meta power required for the 5 to heavy to 6 weight is almost the sum of the weight of 1 to 5. And such a huge force, it is only enough to practice Yi Yuan to triple. Oh, the husband is guilty of his sin. After Tang Shang returns to college, don't expose the matter of the explosion of Yuan Dan, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous. Wan Donghai has engaged in a thing that Zhu Yuan Dan has the confidence to squeeze the medicine fragrant pavilion, and the efficacy of this blasting Yuan Dan is even above that of Zhu Yuan Dan. Once exposed, there will definitely be a violent storm. Yi Yuan's past life also lasted for a long time. Apart from the traitor of the wolf ambition, he confidently looked at people and still had some skill. Tang Yu's filial piety is not a recurring villain. He is also very similar to himself when he sees his life. He has given up the heart of love and will give him a burst of Yuan Dan. Of course, Yi Yuan is not without selfishness. After a good man and 3 gangs, Yi Yuan went to Danwu College, and he couldn't do anything in front of himself. There are a few good friends who are much better. Yi Shi is assured that Tang Yu is not a person who does not know how to be a good person. He also knows that this explosion of Yuan Dan is of great importance and will never be revealed before the people. However, Tang Yu is pretending to be guilty. Yi Shang has this ability, why should he go to Danwu College? Tang Yu is not a fool. Although he only sees the tip of the iceberg, he is very sure that the level of Danyuan in Yi Yuan has completely exceeded the existing level of Qin. Isn't it going to go to Danwu College? And there are some words that he is not good at opening up, afraid that Yi Yuan will misunderstand, that is where Yi Yuan learned these things. Whether it is to cure his father's nameless medicine, or the explosion of Yuan Dan in his hands, it is not made by Yi Hangning. However, these doubts can only be rotten in his stomach, unless Yi Yuan took the initiative to tell him, otherwise he would not know what to do. Danwu College is the place where the elites of Qin State gather. How can I miss this Yi Yuan? Oh, as I see it, those so-called geniuses and elites are just like the chickens in the Brothers. Yi Yuan is shaking his head. You must not underestimate the hero of the world. I must have guessed it. I have had some adventures these days, so I can change so much, but after all, I am still too weak. The genius can't grow up, just other people's stepping stones. Tang Yu nodded and vaguely knew Yi Yuan's idea of going to Danwu College, but he was very impressed. I don't have to think about it. Yi Yuan's adventures are absolutely extraordinary, but Yi Yuan cannot be arrogant and correct his position, it is rare. Those geniuses of the college, which one is not the eye above the top? Like the civilian children like them, those people will look down on them. Tang Yu believes that it will not take long for Yi Yuan to bloom his own light at Danwu College. Those so-called geniuses will be eclipsed in front of him. Come out, follow us all the way, you must be tired too. Tang Yuzheng was thinking about it. Yi Yuan suddenly shouted.